Where's my farming hat? My farming hat. I'm still in farmer mode, in case anybody's wondering. I was farming until 7 a.m. this morning. So, you got that going for you. Since we're playing a game show, and you're supposed to be competing against Mike Hawk, I'm a little sleep deprived. So you have an advantage there. That being said, my name's Mike, and this is my YouTube page, Mox News. And welcome to your Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m. I'm your host, Moxie. Thanks so much for tuning in. So, this is a live call-in show. The number is right there at the bottom of the screen. And Craig says that Craig came up with the game show idea, 100% his idea. He even came up with the title. So, which is usually my job. But so Craig says if we hit the $50 mark in donations, we will do the Mike Hawk, Can You Beat Mike Hawk game show. So if you'd like to participate, and then we'll do like the fourth or the fifth caller, whoever the fifth caller, gets to challenge Mike Hawk, and then you get to win a pizza gift card. So from our unofficial sponsor. So, where was I? Right, and I have many videos for you tonight, and I'm just about ready for a bong hit. I don't know about you guys. I have videos about racism in school, led by a teacher apparently. I have a study that links wearing masks to premature births. That's an Israeli study. I have a story about vaccines leading people to get, ladies, to get false positives on mammograms, which I figured you'd want to see. FBI warning on extremists, Democrats. Alan Dershowitz talks about how Democrats hate Israel. I know you want to see that. I have video from Gaza. I have, they're sending guards in Germany to guard synagogues because of anti-Semitism in Germany, apparently, or worries of anti-Semitism in Germany. And then we'll finish off with a video about how anti-Semitic some Democrats are in the House of Representatives. So this is a big problem, right? Is this, anything that you speak out against Israel, you're anti-Semitic, right? So, the government of Israel is a horrible piece of shit that murders children, okay? And that has nothing to do with whether or not I'm anti-Semitic. Whether I'm anti-Semitic, whether I'm not anti-Semitic. It has to do with the Israeli government being a piece of shit that bombs little children whenever they feel like it. Whenever there's an election coming up. Right, Netanyahu? So, again, the Israeli government is a piece of shit, regardless if you're anti-Semitic or not. And if you're anti-Semitic, wouldn't you be speaking out about all the Jews everywhere? Because that's what it seems like anti-Semitism is. Not calling out crimes against humanity, which is what's going on in Israel. Okay? And everyone should have the right to do that without being called racist or prejudiced. And it's a bunch of bullshit that they equate criticizing the Israeli government with anti-Semitism. And let me tell you something else. Not only is it bullshit that they do that, it's, I believe that's one of the most anti-Semitic things you can do, is tying all Jewish people to the crimes against humanity that the Israeli government commits whenever they feel like it. On a daily basis. I've said the blockade of Gaza is a war crime. It's a crime against humanity on a daily basis. This never ends. Okay, so Israel commits crimes against the Israeli government commits crimes against humanity on a daily basis, and by tying that to all Jews everywhere around the world, which is what they do by calling out critics of Israel as being anti-Semitic, they then attach the crimes of the Israeli government to all Jews, because I think pretty clearly you can hate Israel and not be anti-Semitic. You know, you can easily hate the government of Israel, which again is committing crimes against humanity, horrible, horrible crimes against humanity, and then they tie those crimes to all Jews around the world by saying that it's anti-Semitic if you criticize Israel, and my opinion, by tying all Jews around the world to these crimes against humanity, as if that's who all Jews are, that is probably the most anti-Semitic thing I could imagine, right? There's genocide going on in Gaza of the Palestinian people, and somehow the government of Israel and Israelis and Republicans and Democrats want to say that if you criticize Israel, that you're anti-Semitic. Again, tying all Jews around the world to every hate crime that Israel commits, every crime against humanity, every war crime. Okay, and if you think that that's okay, you know, to tie all Jews to the hateful war crimes that the Israeli government is committing, then that's pretty fucked up of you. Because I don't think of all Jews that way. So maybe it's not me who's the anti-Semitic one. It's you who believes all Jews are equal to people who commit crimes against humanity. Okay? The same humanity in which you exist and I exist. Right? I don't hate all Jews. I hate the Israeli government. I'm sorry, the piece of shit Israeli government. And I can't express that enough. And I don't think in any fucking way, shape, or form that is anti-Semitic. Not for 1 second. I believe it's being human. It's having humanity for other people, for the downtrodden, for people that have been bullied and basically are being pushed out of existence by a horrible, horrible government that couldn't give a fuck how many children they bomb. Okay? So if you think that's okay, you should call so that we could have a nice little talk about blowing children up again and again with your tax dollars, by the way. Again, $40 billion to Israel, $23 million a day, because your kids don't need that money, right? So they're blowing up little babies in Palestine with your money, $23 million a day. And not only that, they're sending all of their kids to college for free. Imagine that. Wow, it's not like your kids deserve anything like that, right? Every single Israeli that wants to go to college goes to college free. Okay? So, again, it's not like your kids should get that same thing. That's why we have to send all this $23 million a day to Israel, because they deserve that money, not your kids. Okay, so your tax dollars are sending Israeli kids to college. Your tax dollars are helping to commit war crimes in Gaza and against the Palestinian people. That's where we're at, okay? And somehow to speak out against that, say, hey, I don't want my money spent this way on killing little children, somehow that's anti-Semitic. Again, to me, being the most anti-Semitic thing I can imagine is attaching these horrible crimes against humanity to all Jews. Right? Am I right? Because I think that's pretty seriously fucked up. Go up on the couch right now. What are you doing? What are you doing? That's not the couch. He doesn't want to lay down by the river today. Okay, so where to start? Right. This is a call-in show. The number's right there on the screen if you want to call. Also, we are doing Dabs for Donation Friday, as always. So if you give a donation, I will do a dab in your honor. And if we get to $50 in donation, we'll play Can You Beat My Cock? What's up, caller?
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Manny. How you doing?
I'm okay, Mark. Hey, I have to admit that it was kind of funny how you react yesterday. I mean, I'm not a troll, dude, but at the same time, the way you reacted, dude, it really cracked me out. I can see now why trolls do trolling, dude.
It seemed to crack you up. I think that's the first time we've heard you laugh on the show, Manny. So you know.
But yeah, but the way you reacted yesterday, man, that was pretty funny. That's just my opinion, though. I know you highly disagree with Israel, and I was listening to your monologue a few minutes ago.
Uh huh.
Obviously, I highly disagree with you when it comes to that, though. But it is what it is, man.
So you disagree?
The whole,
You disagree that the Israeli government, their crimes against humanity, attaching that to all Jews around the world, these crimes against humanity which the Israeli government commits, that's not anti-Semitic. That's not, because to me that's one of the most evil things you could do to Jews, which seems like that would be anti-Semitic, right?
well, if you're anti-Semitic, you try to, classify the threat at the same level of the Nazis, though, because, quite frankly, though, they are not evil. They just want the land, though. And they're the rightful owners of the land. Now, they also have this argument that the Palestinians are also the rightful owners of the land. So obviously, this whole issue, what's going on in Palestine and Israel, it's not about resources. It's not about who was first. It's really about religion, because some people interpret the Bible or the Torah or the burning bush, whatever they want. I believe the Jewish, they interpret a burning bush saying that was their land. And I don't know, I think it was Muhammad that said that was their land as well. So, and they were not bullshitting that. They were not, how can I say?
I don't care what someone said 2,000 years ago. I mean, I say bullshit all day long, so as that should be quoted and that should be the way things are in the world, you know? I mean, I hear people talking bullshit everywhere, you know? So how is it that that's what the world should be, Manny? Especially 2,000-year-old bullshit.
I don't know, Max. Some people believe that was what they want to believe. Unfortunately, you're right. Some things on certain religions are kind of bullshit, like the Muslims.
I know.
I know. But it is what it is, Max. And unfortunately, the only way you can change this is literally, changing their culture. Ben Shapiro was right.
No. The way to change this is by governments around the world calling out the Israeli government for their crimes against humanity. The way to change this is for Jews around the world to call out the Israeli government for attaching their crimes against humanity to all Jews around the world by saying criticizing Israel is anti-Semitic. Anti-Semitic means you hate all Jews. Okay? I think then again, there's good reason to hate Israel, but all Jews, I don't see it, So again, fuck Israel, and that's not anti-Semitic in my opinion. It's no different than saying fuck the United States government, which I do on a regular basis.
I don't know, that sounds very complicated. That sounds very sensitive. What is going? But yeah, man. I mean, even if you do that, even if you tell the governments to condemn them, eventually the only color that they will see is going to be the color green. So they're not going to do anything though. And quite frankly, I get into the conclusion that the only way to change these things in the Middle East is literally changing their entire culture, their entire identity. Sounds very bad though, but unfortunately that's the way I see it though.
No, they have the right to have their culture, man. The problem is that we act like one side is good and the other side is bad. Okay? There's not, it's not fair. And again, this thing where if you criticize anything that Israel does, you're anti-Semitic. Okay? That is not okay either. And it's a lie. And it's a horrible thing and I think it's actually anti-Semitic to say that if you criticize Israel, it's anti-Semitic. I think that act of saying that the people are anti-Semitic for criticizing Israel because they attach all the crimes of Israel to all the Jews around the world, which is not right.
Well, I can see the point in that one though, and quite frankly, that's a fair point though. but at the same time, it is ingrained within the religion that they're supposed to support Israel, and eventually they have to come back to Israel as the Holy Land. That is ingrained in the religion. That's just a fact. So, in order for the Jews to not support Israel, they really have to quit the religion, though.
There's a lot of Jews around the world that criticize Israel, that stand up and fight for the Palestinians. And all Jews everywhere other than Israel should be standing up against Israel because they're attaching horrible crimes against humanity to you. And you live, 5,000 miles away from Israel? But you're responsible for what they're doing. Otherwise, it's just fucked up, dude. It's not right at all.
I agree. It's fucked up, though. It's like saying that all black people are criminals, which is a complete fallacy.
Exactly.
And I see your point. I see your point now. I totally see your point, man. But at the same time, I mean, that's the only thing I see things how can change it. Like, you really have to change the entire culture in order to get rid of it.
No, you don't. Again, they have the right to have their own culture, Manny, the way that they want it, okay? And it may seem fucked up, and it may seem, like they're savages, or however you want to describe it. But if it's like we talked about Gaddafi yesterday, who was the president of Libya, and when he would travel, he would live in a tent, right? He rented an estate from Donald Trump, and then he set up a tent on the lawn, okay? Because that's the way he lived, the president of Libya, until they killed him. And I don't think it's okay to look at that and somehow say, oh, these people are backwards, they're simpleton, they have this giant mansion to live in, and they set up a tent on the front lawn. This is the way hate begins.
I agree. That's the way hate begins all the time. People disagreeing and humanizing other people.
Right, by saying stuff like, that we got to change the culture. Okay, you can't. They have the right to live how they want, man. And it's not a matter of changing the culture. It's, again, looking at Israel properly, because they're committing crimes against humanity. They're dominating this little place. They're not letting them get food. They're not letting them get building supplies. They're not letting them fish in the ocean so that they can feed their families. Okay? If you don't think these things are crimes against humanity, I question your humanity. Okay?
What's a humanity, Max? I mean, humanity is basically a set of morals and principles that you are supposed to abide by on your environment. So if it is right to mock people from Jewish descendants because it's the norm, which is in the Middle East, then that's normal, though. But if you live in the United States where it does look down on, but then that's something wrong with you, though. Because it's the moral set by the society around you, though. So I understand that your morals are different than mine, but when it comes to the whole situation, though, I really end up with the conclusion that the only thing that is going to be fixed is, unfortunately, changing the culture, their identity.
See, this is an impossible task. So you set up an impossible task, and say that's the only chance we have. So you're dooming yourself. Okay, instead of saying no, we get the Jews around the world to say, hey, I got nothing to do with crimes against humanity, instead of support Israel, support Israel, support Israel. Because supporting Israel means you're good with crimes against humanity. That and Netanyahu attaching them to you. So one way or the other, if you want to support Israel, then you support crimes against humanity. That's fine. But don't attach it to all Jews, because that's sick and wrong. And changing the culture, again, changing the culture is something that's not going to happen. So why should we spend 1 minute saying, oh, you have to change the culture? So what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for failure, and then when the Israelis bulldoze the Palestinians into the ocean, oh, well, they should have changed their culture. Is that what you're saying, Manny?
Well, kind of, but it has to be on both sides, not just one side, because eventually the other side's culture is going to take over.
Right, that's what I'm saying. When they bulldoze the Palestinians into the ocean, the other side's going to
Yeah,
take over.
yeah, because one side is culture change and the other one isn't. So you need to change everyone's culture. I
Oh,
can, and again, this is going to sound extremely controversial, but I can see now why the Chinese are doing what they're doing with the Uyghurs, though, because they're afraid that eventually the Uyghurs are going to become very tribal, and they're going to, I don't know, that they will try to, I don't know, form their own land and not be in unity with China and stuff like that. But again, I can see why they're doing it though. But I mean, moralistically speaking, though, I don't think that's an appropriate way to even support that.
it's a fucking prison camp, man. You know, it's
Yeah,
not.
but you
It's
know
you.
why they're doing it though?
It's like you're saying. I can see why they're committing crimes against humanity.
Yeah, it sounds very controversial, but I can see why they're doing it though.
Okay.
No, 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 I'm not telling you. I'm telling you the truth. Okay,
Yeah, I
here's
know,
the thing though.
Manny. You tell me the truth about how if people have the wrong complexion in Mexico, that you should call the police. Okay, I get it, Manny. You're telling me the truth. I got it.
All right, Max. I'm just telling you though, like that's the way I see things. Like
I
how things
know.
can change. Is
You
like
think somehow the Uyghurs should change their culture. You think that the Palestinians should
no, no, no,
change
no,
their
no.
culture.
All I'm saying is that unfortunately, the only way I see things that might change over there is all sides have to shift their culture in there. And then
All
once that
that
happens, though,
all that has to happen, Manny, is for Joe Biden to roll an aircraft carrier up into Gaza and say the blockade ends today. Okay, that's all that has to happen. That's it. That's how easy it is to end this.
well, I don't know, Max.
I do.
Unfortunately, unfortunately, a lot of people who support Israel are embedded within the government.
Of course, they all
And
support Israel.
yeah, but I'm talking about the allies or what's
Yeah.
it called?
And by supporting
Uh,
Israel, that means they support crimes against humanity, which makes them horrible people who need to go to prison, which I say every fucking night. The people in Congress, all of them, need to go to prison. The people in the White House need to go to prison. We must make examples of them so that the people who come after them don't think they can get away with the same shit. Just like the Israeli government. All right, man, it's good to hear from you.
all right, man. Have a good day.
Okay, you too. I'm just not down with, attaching crimes against humanity to all Jews. I'm just not down with saying, oh, I understand why the Chinese government is putting the Uyghurs into prison camps. Okay? That's not okay. Either one of those things is horrible. And I don't know how any Jews around the world support Israel, considering that if you support them, that means you support crimes against humanity. And if that's the kind of people you are, I'm not saying you, I mean, personally, if that's who you choose to be, that's pretty fucked up. Crimes against humanity. Hello, caller.
Hey, good evening, Michael. I was listening to you talk to Manny,
Uh-huh.
and I thought, obviously, your side of the equation is the logical and factual side, and it makes me, listening to him prattle on like a moron, makes me think, what kind of development, what kind of a person talks about morality but excuses immorality? And I just have to say that this is a person who thinks he's educated but doesn't have any real facts to sway the conversation. It's Jesus this and the Bible that, and the Jews is a historic land, and these people are all terrorists. And,
Well, he is educated. The problem is that he's also heavily influenced by conservative media.
well, who do you think? I'm admittedly a radical, and I am admittedly a rebel, and I am admittedly a pirate. Kind of
Anarchy,
guy.
anarchy, anarchy.
Yeah. Fuck them all to death. And who do you think actually, with those types of people, those people that accept what they hear, and don't do their own research and don't find out the facts on the ground, who changes the world? Those people that just accept the dialogue and the narrative, or those people who question the narrative? Who really changes the world? It's always been the rebels and those free thinkers and those free actors that change the world for the better. We push society forward, and we create human rights, and we expose evil with the light, with truth, with verifiable facts. And so opinions don't really matter here. It's only the facts that matter. If I'm wrong, somebody prove me wrong, and I'll admit it. I don't care.
I have an opinion. Let me ask. Okay, something I kept saying to Manny is, attaching crimes against humanity to all Jews around the world seems like the most anti-Semitic thing that you can possibly do. Don't you think?
Absolutely. Most of what Israel does is anti-Semitic.
There you go.
Absconding with the language itself is a sort of a intellectual crime, because the Palestinians are Semites. So how come if you pick on a Jewish person, that's anti-Semitic, but if you butcher 50,000 Palestinians, that's not anti-Semitic? They absconded with the actual language. Palestinians are Semites. So why are you even accepting false language created by Israel when it has no factual basis in linguistics? How come people don't consider Palestinians Semitic? Palestinians are Semitic. Aramaic is a Semitic language. Hebrew is a Semitic language. Palestinians are Semitic. So when you attack Palestinians, you're an anti-Semite. According to logic and according to language,
right.
But according to modern day propaganda, only Israelis and Jews are Semitic, and if you say anything against Israel, you're an anti-Semitic. So, if Israel kills 30 people a day, which is what it's been doing for the last 4 days, been killing 30 people a day, and you criticize that, you're an anti-Semite. But they have, they even, the Israelis say they invented the falafel, they invented hummus. They abscond with everything, including Palestinian food and Palestinian fashion. So, but if you see blown up bodies and people with their guts hanging out and people with amputated limbs and piles of dead Palestinian children, it kind of changes your perspective on things, and you end up becoming a little bit more radicalized, and you can say fuck you to the people who are just quoting the Schofield Bible or quoting NBC or CNN. It's like, no, man, we've had enough on planet Earth. It doesn't matter which group of suppressed people you're supporting. It could be Chinese, could be Malaysians, could be Palestinians, could be black people or American Indians, anybody, anywhere, South America. Support human rights, because that's underneath all the bullshit, that's all this is about, is human rights. And Palestinians are humans. And if you want to talk about tribalism, I would say in no way is it anti-Semitic or anti-intellectual or untrue to describe Jews as the most tribal culture on earth.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's anti-Semitic either. I don't know that that's true, but I know that again, the Netanyahu and the government of Israel is attaching these crimes against humanity, all Jews around the world, and I find that as one of the worst things you could possibly do to any people. And I'm just so surprised that more Jewish people don't speak out against it in this exact manner that I'm saying. Because it does seem like a very anti-Semitic, probably the most anti-Semitic thing you could do. Go ahead.
Well, it's been hundreds of years now, but European colonialists came here centuries ago, and let's just exclude the slave trade. Let's exclude the black people, but the European colonialists wiped out 500 Indian tribes in the North American continent. Wiped them out. There's very few left. So that is exactly analogous to what Israel, powered by the United States, has been doing to the Palestinians. But we're supposed to be civilized now. This is a post-industrial world now. And how come it's still okay now for people to do that? If you're going to criticize Israel, or if you're going to criticize Palestine for trying to hang on to a little bit of human dignity and some land and their lives, if you're going to criticize them, then you are excusing the genocide of the North American Indian tribes. And I don't excuse that. It was a crime. I don't know what to do about it. It is historical. But right now, history is going on, and I am on the right side of history.
Right. It can't do anything about what happened 200-300 years ago, but maybe you can do something about what's going on right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And no matter what the subject matter is, if you don't really know the history and the facts and the nuances and the map, you got to know the map. Don't talk about it, please. Don't just repeat CNN to me on a live stream and pretend that you're some kind of informed intellectual. You're not, please. But we need Manny to call up every day and spout his idiot bullshit so that you can try to correct him every day. Not that you'll make much headway.
Well,
but,
he calls back all the time, 24 hours later and says, "You were right, Mox." So, he says that a lot. Like tonight I said, isn't this, attaching to Jews all around the world, the crimes against humanity of the Israeli government, isn't that anti-Semitic? And he said, I see your point, so.
It is a complex situation. It is settler colonialism. It is going on right now, and there are two sides. But nonetheless, if you stand up for Israel as it wipes out the Palestinian people, you are on the side of genocide and war crimes. Period. Because this could have and should have been settled decades and decades ago, but it's still going on, and I'm not going to turn a blind eye, and I'm not going to shut up. And if I got to take a bullet, I'll take a fucking bullet, because I ain't backing down. I know I'm right. I know the history. I can debate anybody anywhere on planet Earth as to the history. And most of the guys just bullshit you. Oh, yeah, well, this happened in 1951, and that happened in 1931. Palestine had a railway. Palestine had airports. The airports are all bombed. People say there was... I've met people that told me there was no one there. We just took empty land. Bullshit. There was a civilization there, and now there's a place called Israel, which is built upon the bones of Palestine, and I'm not going to shut up. Not to some dumb fuck who doesn't know any history, any details, doesn't know the map, doesn't know anything. But I want him to call in every night so I can listen to what an idiot sounds like every night, and you can do what you do. And got 30 people a day have died for the last 4 days. 30 people a day.
Yeah.
So
it looks like it's going to get a lot worse, too. If you can imagine it getting worse,
Yeah, well, we are privileged here that we don't have to crawl underneath our houses and hide from bombs and rockets. And finally, the Israelis got a little taste of that for the first time in history this week. And look what happens. The whole population explodes. We're under attack. We're under attack.
Yeah, I got Dershowitz coming up talking about how they're killing little Israeli babies.
Right, yeah. Oh, poor guys. Poor guys. I mean, the villain plays the victim so well. And you just learn who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. And if everybody would have seen what I've seen, which is piles of dead Palestinian children, in parts, hands and legs and heads,
Yeah.
guts torn out. If everybody would have seen that, they would have been motivated. But I've seen it, and it changed me.
And you see, if you just look, you see the Palestinians, they throw stones, and meanwhile, you know, the Israelis are shooting with live ammo. In fact, I have a video where they talk about Israelis throwing, the Palestinians throwing stones, and the Israelis firing back with live ammo. So, not rubber bullets, live ammo. So, that's where this has been for decades, and it's got to stop.
One of the worst things I've seen happened in 2018, but most people won't recognize it or remember it, is that they had this Palestinian Great March of Return, where some guy had an idea, everybody in Gaza, let's go up to the border, or there actually is no border, it changes back and forth, mostly back, so Gaza gets smaller every year, but let's go up to the border and let's wave our Palestinian flags, and let's protest like we want to come back to our lands, right? So that's what they did for an entire year, and I think they, I don't have the stats, but they killed hundreds of people, and they wounded and maimed thousands of people who had no weapons, and all they were doing, they were burning tires, they would light kites on fire, and they would wave their flags.
Yeah.
And that's it. And they were being butchered day after day. 60 people were shot in one day. Peaceful protesters. What do you think would happen in the United States if 60 people were shot by the police here for waving flags and...
Yeah, I have a video of the Israeli police going into an apartment and beating the shit out of a guy while he's just got his hands over his head. I have that coming up.
All right, well, we're in the middle of history, and you can't make excuses for war crimes and crimes against humanity. And always support the victim, no matter where they are on planet Earth. Always support the victim and fight the oppressor. And unfortunately, the Israeli government is the oppressor, and they've been committing murder and genocide and land theft, and they control the media.
You said, unfortunately, it's very, very unfortunate, and I really wish that we didn't have to criticize the Israeli government. I wish they were taking care of the Palestinian people and making sure that they have what they need. They're not doing anything like that. I got to take a break, Mike.
Take care, bro.
Okay, thanks for calling. Okay, and I have that video I was just talking about the Israeli police going in and beating a guy in his kitchen, and it also shows people firing back with live ammo against people throwing rocks. So I'll play that for you now, and I'll come back and take a bong hit. I'm going to go warm up my tea. Thanks for tuning in.
The Israeli Prime Minister has warned that Israel's biggest offensive against Hamas in years is not over yet. Palestinians in northern Gaza have been fleeing the Israeli bombardment. Rockets were fired by militants in Gaza towards Israel for a fifth day. At least 122 people in Gaza have been killed and 9 have died in Israel since fighting began on Monday. Our Middle East editor, Jeremy Bowen, now reports.
It's ugly and angry on the streets in towns shared by Jews and Arabs in Israel. They have the same ID papers and not much else in common. Police broke down the door of the Mahmoud family in Haifa. They deny accusations their sons were attacking Jews. The police say their officers behaved correctly. The father, Sheikh Awad, the imam of a mosque, and his 2 sons were arrested for attacking police officers. The woman who filmed this said they're scared not of Jews, but of racist police. A local rabbi visited, she said, to apologize. In Gaza, a building housing the Hamas bank was hit. Families went back to check what was left after a big Israeli operation to destroy a tunnel complex. Yasser Fayyad's home was gone. He said there was no warning when the explosions began. Both his father's feet were blown off. His aunt lost an eye. Around 2 million people live in Gaza. Half of them are children. Far inland on the West Bank, it was a day of protests and more Palestinians were killed. In the occupied territories and in Israel, events this week have exposed once again the mutual hatred and fear that are the essence of this conflict. Jews in Jerusalem fired live bullets at Palestinians who Israeli reports say threw stones and fireworks. This was Sheikh Jarrah, where attempts to evict Palestinians from their homes helped start the escalation to war. In Jordan, the country next door, security forces kept protesters back from the frontier. Palestinians make up more than half the Jordanian population, mostly refugees from past wars not permitted to return by Israel. History never dies in this conflict. People do.
And Jeremy Bowen joins us now from Jerusalem. Jeremy, it's day 5 of the fighting. Is either side close to achieving its objective?
Well, Israel says it isn't, that it needs to teach Hamas much more of a lesson. The advisor to the Prime Minister, Mark Regev, was saying earlier on today to the BBC that Hamas needs to know that it will suffer greatly and that there is no point in it trying to attack Israel. Hamas themselves have, I think, in their heads made some important points. They are saying to Palestinians that they are their true defenders, that they are fighting for the rights of Palestinians in Jerusalem and right across the West Bank and Gaza, and also within Israel, where of course there is now this extra unexpected front line, which is this sectarian trouble between Israeli citizens, the 20% who are Arabs and the 80% who are Jews. Individuals from both sides have been clashing, and it's got very violent tonight in a lot of towns in northern Israel, with a lot of trouble on the streets.
And Jeremy, what about the diplomatic efforts to try and get a ceasefire? Any sign of the United States envoy? There's an Egyptian delegation, isn't there? And also the United Nations?
All that stuff's going on behind the scenes, and I'm sure that they are talking, they're trying to make things happen. The pattern has been, in the years of clashes and wars between Hamas and Israel, since Hamas took over in Gaza in 2007, the pattern has been that they end with a ceasefire, which is achieved through mediation. But for that to happen, both sides need to come away with something. Now, one thing that we've been hearing is it could be that Hamas is saying that it needs some kind of acknowledgement of things that it's achieved to help Palestinians or something like that. And the thing is, if it is some kind of statement, well, they'll never get that from the Israelis. So in other words, I think that, you know, this is actually a really important time for diplomacy, because if it doesn't work, the only way is down. But
and Jeremy,
it's going to
briefly,
be very,
even if there
very
is
difficult for the time being.
And Jeremy, briefly, even if there is a ceasefire, what about the street fighting? What has that revealed?
Well, you know, these clashes, the sectarian clashes within Israel, I think, are actually potentially much more serious for the Israeli government and the Israeli people than actually what's happening around Gaza. That's a terrible thing, what's going on. It's absolutely brutal. People are terrorized on both sides, and traumatized as well. But the sectarian issue is something that is new at this kind of pitch, and it's something that may not go away, and that, I think, is going to turn into a big problem for Israeli governments.
Jeremy Bowen in Jerusalem, thank you.
Okay, so I got 2 Bitcoin donations, one for $9.99 and one for $10. So This one is for the person who sent $9.90. And by the way, the rule is if we get to $50 in donations, we'll play Can You Beat My Cock game show. And there will be a winner for pizza gift card. So I like pizza. I wish I could win, but I don't think I can. I mean, I can beat my cock. Wait a minute. The question is, can you beat my cock? And Craig came up with the whole idea. So thanks to Craig, and he makes the rules. I don't make the rules. So we need $50 in donations. We have. Let's see, we have $39.99. So I'll go ahead and say $40. Nope, that's not right. $19.99. So let's call it $20. So we're almost halfway there. Ready? This one is for the $10 donation, and we'll do one for the $9.99 one momentarily. All right, so I have to tell you that this is what I'm smoking. It's called Sweet Tarts, right? It's called Sweet Tarts, and hi caller, just hold on a sec. It's called Sweet Tarts, and I just got done smoking something called cake frosting. So the cake frosting was supposed to be incredibly sweet, and I couldn't taste it. I got a little bit of a diesel, but not the any kind of a sweet. Now the Sweet Tarts is very sweet and actually almost tastes like Sweet Tarts, which is fucking unbelievable. Because the other stuff, cake frosting, stuff like that, almost never. Hey, what's up, caller?
Yo, what's up? Yo, this is DJ L7. Yo, it's been a while since I called, man, so I have to talk to you again.
L7, I love that name. Have you ever seen the band L7?
You mean the rock group, the chick rock group?
Yeah.
Like around Nirvana time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know about them.
Yeah, I saw them at a little underground club. There must have been like 30, 40 people there. It was friggin' awesome.
Nah, I'm Elf like the little people in the forest. That's cool. I have love for L7 too. We could definitely talk. What's up, L7? Holla at your boy DJ L7. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What up?
I hear it.
Anyways, yeah. So nice to see you again. It's been a while, but I just want to talk about a couple things regarding this Israel situation.
Okay. You're digitizing a little bit, so I don't know if you're in a bad spot or something, but your voice just digitized, and we didn't hear anything you said. So start over, okay? Yeah, you're still doing it. You're gonna have to start over again. We couldn't hear anything you said. It all digitized.
I'm sorry. Yeah, let me step away from the computer. Is that better now?
Yeah, that sounds better.
Yeah, I'm probably on my electronic device. I'm probably like a mini Faraday cage.
Okay.
Anyways, one of the things I want to say is that this new Israel stuff shows us, right? The footage that we're seeing right now, they're not allowed to project that footage for things that the U.S. is involved in. So we can see the anti-war movement has been definitely hurt by this. So we need programs like yourself to bring this stuff to the forefront, because honestly, our whole media has been subjugated. That's why I'm calling for people in this call right now to support Julian Assange. That's someone who's definitely been freedom fighter in terms of getting us information regarding these kinds of situations.
I think one of the biggest letdowns of Donald Trump, not that I'm any kind of fan, but people kept talking about him pardoning Julian Assange, and it only makes sense to do that. I mean, let this poor guy, have a break. He was only trying to do the right thing for everyone. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Also, just want to mention that we recently did a forum on police reform here in New York City, right, which is not being carried by the mainstream media, which had the blessings of Serpico. You know Serpico, right?
Yeah.
The guy, yeah. We had the blessings of Serpico, which was fucking dope. I'm sorry, which was dope. I'm sorry, that's what I was about here.
So anybody who doesn't know, he was a cop in New York who turned in other cops for being completely corrupt, right?
Yeah, we definitely, and he started something called the NAP Commission. We had a successor to him named Stephen Lee, also on board. You know what I mean? So we've been doing a lot. But the thing is that this brings into focus once again the IDF's role in the New York City Police Department. That for some reason we see the tactics that you're using on the screen right now, and we ask ourselves, is that something that we want the New York Police learning and paying to learn?
Right.
What, or you know what I mean? Or I don't think that's necessary at all. You know what I mean?
And-
We don't have that type of
And local police departments around the world send police officers, training officers over to Israel on a regular basis. Correct?
Yeah. And the GGL7 wants to give a big shout out right now to the Yellow Brick Road and Frank Analysis, propaganda, and a whole bunch of different people on YouTube, including my man Mox News. You know what I mean? Got much love for, Reed Coverdale, Vigilant Lone Wolf Podcast. You know what I mean? There's a lot of cats that I need to shout out right here. And thank you so much for doing what you do, man. And I'm smoking right now. Last time I laid low because I snitched on myself the last show, but they just legalized weed in New York, bro.
Yeah, I heard that. That's really good. I think Cuomo is desperate or something.
He is desperate. He's desperate so bad, yeah. Yo, man, so that's what I want to share, man. I hope that we could do some more stuff soon. I'd love to have you on my channel at some point to interview you, to learn about, your whole experience with doing this thing and what you've learned and your perspective changes as you've developed as a YouTube guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, thanks very much. I think that sounds awesome. And it's DJ L7, correct?
You got it.
All right. All right, L7. It's good to hear from you, man. Call back sooner or next time, okay?
I will. God bless. Well, they legalized it, so now I don't have nothing to worry about. I was like, oh, should I snitch myself? If anybody finds out that you know what I mean? But now I'm not scared no more. So.
Well, you guys you don't have any dispensaries or anything yet, right?
You know what? The hood just lit up. Everybody's got now, and everybody's open.
Yeah, good.
It'll go all around. Everybody who was selling before is just selling openly. That's it.
That's great. And you can grow like 4 plants, right?
I think it's 6.
Oh,
I don't know. I take a look. Yeah.
That's
I got
awesome.
some plants already.
Awesome. That's great. That's great, dude. You got it.
Yep.
You have to use your freedom, otherwise it will be taken from you. So, I love freedom, and I love people who use it. So, glad to hear from you.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Are you using a vaporizer?
I dab my weed, so I get flowers, and then I have a press. Do you know how to make flower rosin?
Mm-hmm.
So I make flower rosin, and then I dab. I like getting the flowers so you know what you're getting, as opposed to something that's already made into oil or whatever, because then you don't know what you started with,
Yeah. Hey, respect, man. Awesome. Enjoy, man.
Okay, good to hear from you.
Thank you, brother. Peace.
DJ L7. All right. So, again, we are doing the game show, Can You Beat My Cock, tonight. And we're giving away a pizza gift card to whoever can beat my cock. That sounds like a heck of a deal, right? All right. So, and I have video for you here. I have a little video that I want to play about vaccines. There's a study that's attributing vaccines, I don't know if it's one vaccine or if it's a bunch of vaccines, to false mammogram diagnosis, right? False mammogram diagnosis. Vaccines are contributing to that, according to this story that I'm going to play for you now, which is number 7.
Doctors are worried the COVID vaccine is raising false red flags in mammograms. Among the many side effects from the vaccine is enlarged lymph nodes. Medical specialists who look at mammograms for signs of malignancy are seeing the swollen lymph nodes. That prompts them to call back a patient for more testing. Doctors say while they wish to spare their patients this unnecessary worry, they also want to avoid missing important signs.
All right, so I'm getting another dab ready for the person who donated $9.99 in Bitcoins. It's your turn, my brother or my sister, and I will set that up for you momentarily. Actually, I'm getting it on my little dab stick right now, and once we do that, I'll play another video so that I can heat up the bong, and And then, if we don't have any callers, I'll just play another video after we take a dab. Because this is a call-in show. And it's all about your participation and your voice. That's what really matters here. And it's always good to hear from you. Everybody. Manny, Landlord, Pete, Jackie Cat. It's always good to just know that you're out there and, hey, I'm going to have a little talk with Mike. I love that. So anyways, the number's right there on the screen in case you'd like to have a little talk with Mike Cox. Otherwise, I'm going to play a video. I can do it. I do this all day long, people. Do not doubt my words. So, should we play another video while I heat up the bong? Is that the idea? All right. So, let's see. I have a video about, FBI extremist. Oh, no, not that one. All right, so we'll play a video about racism in school. There's a local school here. And I want to talk about school after we're done here because I see something happening that I'm very concerned with. And I thought that we should have a discussion about that. So I'll be right back. This is about racism in schools.
A viewer sent us pictures taken inside Timberline High School in Lacey, concerned about disturbing messages about Muslims and Asians. KIRO 7 South Sound reporter Kevin Coe learned the teacher is under investigation and has been on paid leave since last month.
The district says it's taking this matter very seriously, but concerned parents and students who spoke up about this incident, they have their doubts.
When Timberline High School senior Natalie Scott went to class, she couldn't believe what she saw.
The first one I noticed was the one that said, "Excuse my bad driving, my feet are binded," which is horribly offensive for so many reasons.
Then she saw this cartoon drawing of an Asian person, a sign reading, "Bind your feet and get yourself a husband," and "Islam, the plague of the East."
What was more concerning to me was the fact that he put it up and displayed it in his classroom, made the choice to do that when he teaches psychology and history. So he's not just ignorant, he understands these issues.
We don't know the purpose behind these drawings or any details about the assignment, but that's all under investigation. A spokesperson for North Thurston Public Schools sent us a statement saying, "When it was brought to the district's attention, we immediately began an investigation, which is currently underway. The items in the photos in question have been removed from that teacher's classroom. We are still investigating why those items were there and in what context."
How do you guys feel about their statement?
It's too little too late.
Natalie also sent this text of the images to her mom on May 6th, but they believe there have been other complaints over this teacher's behavior in the classroom.
In the context of everything else that I've heard this year, it just feels so small that this is what is making people care.
Now, the district also says it recognizes that racist images or messages can be harmful to students. But what they could not tell us is how long those images were up after the teacher was already put on leave. That is a part of the ongoing investigation. We'll keep you updated as we find out more. Reporting in Lacey, Kevin Coe, KIRO 7 News.
Okay, we're almost ready here. Excuse me while I whip this out. Again, this is the sweet tarts that I'm smoking today. And the reason I mention it is because that last bong hit was the first taste of it. And I was like, whoa, this tastes really good. And it's got a nice little kick to it, too. I have to tell you, I am so impressed with the taste of that weed. When I first start to hit it, as it starts to hit my tongue, I can taste all this sweetness. Sweet tarts, that's what I'm smoking right now. It's really good. I highly recommend it if you get the chance. And that dab was for the gentleman or lady who donated $9.99 in Bitcoins. Thank you very, very much. It's very generous of you. And if anybody wants to donate, tonight is Dabs for Donations Friday, like we do every Friday night. But also, which means you give a donation and I do a dab in your honor. But not only is it Dabs for Donations Friday, we're also trying to start our new Friday night game show, Can You Beat My Cock? And the rules are we have to get to $50 in donations in order to play. And then we'll give away a pizza gift card to whoever, can beat my cock. Which that sounds like a pretty good deal to me. So I'm ready to play another video. If you guys would like to get the game show started, again, we need to hit $50 in the donations. So far, we're up to 20. You have a slight advantage over me today because I am definitely sleep deprived. And so let's do this thing, right? Well, not yet. We have to get to $50 in donations first. So I don't know. You want me to play another video? No. I want to talk about schools. Okay, that last video was about schools. And I'm very concerned about what's happening. Last night I kept talking about how some people don't have to wear a mask now and other people do have to wear a mask, and that it's creating a whole second-class citizen, a whole new second-class citizen where you can go, oh yeah, you're welcome to come in here, you're not welcome. Like whites only, right? But that being said, I'm very concerned about going back to school because one of the things I keep hearing is, are they going to require vaccines in school? In order for the child to return to school, are they going to require that they've been vaccinated, right? I keep hearing this come up again and again, and they're like, oh, we haven't decided yet, which is really fucked up, but we do recommend highly that they get the vaccine. Now, that being said, what I'm really concerned about is that if the kids go back to school and some of them have to wear a mask and some of them don't, because that sounds like a really, really bad idea. Because, instantly these are going to be the good guys and these are going to be the bad guys. And again, the second-class citizen, So I would be very careful about this either way if I was a parent. But again, I'm not a parent. I don't know. I'm sure you have many concerns. But this should be a big one, I think. Because this is just going to end up badly if some of them don't have to wear masks and some of them do. Very, very badly. And I think even generally in the street, we've already had people, stabbed, people shot, people have the shit beat out of them because they didn't put a mask on, or because they wanted the person who didn't put a mask on to put a mask on. So they got stabbed. They got stabbed multiple times. Or they wanted the person to put their mask on and they got road raged because, everybody's walking around all aggro, So we've already seen that even when everybody's required to wear a mask. So imagine what it's going to be like when you have to wear a mask but you don't have to wear a mask. You think it's aggro now. I think we're headed a really, really dangerous direction with that. Hello, caller.
Hello, Moxie.
What's up, G?
What up? It's Big Baby.
I know who the fuck it is. Hey, did you see? There was a new crypto that I hadn't seen before on the market, the top 24 the other day, and it was called Internet Computer. Have you seen that one?
I was literally looking at my portfolio. I was like, what the hell? Internet Computer? What the fuck is that? That's a pretty cool name. I kind of want to buy something.
It's like, it's calling your name, man. You saw the abbreviation, right?
Oh, yeah. I saw that abbreviation. But I actually put a good bit of cash into Ethereum because they just changed over to Ethereum 2. I'm already starting to make a couple couple dollars on the 6% APY, the proof of stake coins or whatever.
That's cool.
So, yeah, that's good. I think it's
You switched all your Bitcoin over there?
Well, no, actually, I use my Bitcoin for a couple other things, but I was putting a bit into Bitcoin and putting a bit into Ethereum. I was putting a bit into these other ones that give you like a yield back, like AgroLand and some other ones. Even they have that US dollar coin. I got like 2 cents, but hey, it's better than nothing. It's more did you get when did you put money in the savings account, which I'm pretty sure is going to piss off some of the banks, but that's what they get for not giving anybody any money anymore.
Right, they stopped doing that
savings.
forever. They used to do that. It used to be a reason to save your money because it was going to make money. Put it in the bank and it'll make money for you. They don't do that anymore.
Yeah, because the banks make more money off of ripping people off.
Yeah, now they charge
advantage of their credit.
Now
they make more money off of credit than they do and debt than they do. Anyway.
Yeah. What's going on?
Oh, nothing much. I just keep hearing about this whole Israel-Palestine thing, so I thought I'd call up and I'll give a few thoughts about all this,
Mm-hmm.
And, I really believe that a lot of the issues when it comes to us and relations are all part of, just a big old money scheme, There's money getting thrown around everywhere.
For sure.
And that's causing undue influence onto our foreign policy from another nation, It's not good. It's not good,
Mm-hmm. Not good at all.
I understand that Ted Cruz is going to come out there and say all the stuff that he says about this, but I understand why, and it's because there are political action committees like NORPAC and other people that give him so much money that 2 years ago he got $350,000 total from pro-Israel groups. So of course he's going to be pro-Israel. They gave him $300,000.
Right. In my imagination, they gave him that publicly, and then they gave him another 2 suitcases full of $100 bills. That would be my guess.
Oh yeah, privately, under the table through stock options and stuff. Here's a bunch of stocks of this company. Here's your SodaStream stock in Israel. Where we use Palestinian slave labor to make soda stuff. Here you go.
Everybody loves that SodaStream. Don't get people upset about that.
Don't get people mad. Oh yeah, it's really nice that Scarlett Johansson is on there. Selling that stuff. She's really helping the apartheid stuff go down. But it's ridiculous. They got both sides. It's not just Ted Cruz. Look, you got Robert Menendez. He's got double. He's got $500,000 from them in the same election cycle. So they bought out both parties.
Yeah.
There's nothing you could do. They've hedged their bets, as you would say.
Man, I miss Ron Paul so much, dude.
Oh gosh, yeah, I was there for the revolution. I voted for him in the 2012 primary. I voted for Ron Paul.
That's awesome.
I felt good about that vote.
I bet.
It just sucks he only got 1%, but that's because everything you've written.
Yeah.
I get started about that whole thing. We talked about that, but it's just crazy that everybody's acting like this isn't about how money is being poured into it. That's why they said. Well, I was reading this article a couple days ago. They were like, we got to send them this money unconditionally. Yeah, it's unconditional because they take that money and they give it to the political action committees, and then the political action committees give it to you guys. So, of course you want it to be unconditional because you're unconditionally going to get some of that money back in your political campaign. Of course you want it like that. So, it's all a big gambit. So, of course, they're going to take their side.
Hey, Z, don't hate the player, hate the game, man. I hate all those goddamn players, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, you know what? That's true. And it'll be hating on the game. It's lobbying itself that's the problem. If it's pro-Israel or pro-big ag or pro-big pharma or whatever. At the end of the day, it's just lobbying. They legalize bribery.
That's what it seems like, huh? And this is, again, people, please, this is why I say these people must go to prison. They must be made examples of, or we're never, ever, ever going to get a better government.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody's got to go to Gitmo over this.
They all got to go to prison. See, they need to go to prison. We need to seize all their assets, and then their families have to live destitute and in shame. Do you know how bad I want that to happen to Dick Cheney, dude? I want all their assets seized, and then, you know, them in prison, and their grandchildren remembering that about them, or their great-grandchildren, or whatever.
Yep, Liz Cheney's going to have to explain to her children while they live in the same slums that her parents created.
Fuck her, explain it. She needs to...
liberals and the old club, through their old, you know, the whole crap that they did with the fake two-party dichotomy, where they pretend that they're actually on the opposite sides, but they're just on the side of making money and doing this all.
It's all theater. I mean, we all like, you know, the movies and the theater, but this is all just bullshit. Pretend.
Oh yeah, it's like what Graham Elwood says. It's like pro wrestling, you know. They're both like, they're both gonna fight each other all the time. But at the end of the day, there's a big guy. Just like how Vince McMahon runs them all, the lobbyists run them all. The lobbying groups is Vince McMahon. They got the money and they tell them what to do.
They tell them when to win and when to not win.
Yeah, when to take the pin, when to do the job, as they say in the wrestling business. That's why it was really cool. One of my favorite wrestlers of all time, Mick Foley, he started a wrestling stable called the JOB Squad, the Job Squad, because that's what it was called. Jobbing out is like a reference to, you know, having to take the pinfall. You know, so
you like
that.
Martial arts movies like Kung Fu and stuff like that, like Jet Li. And, yeah. I watched one. I watched one called Big Brother. Have you seen that one with Donnie Yen?
Big Brother.
Yeah, he's a teacher. He's a teacher, and it's really, really good if you get a chance. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, you know, like Big Brother I see is Big Brother's All Stars. And it's like, oh yeah, that Big Brother.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The CBS show. Where they normalize putting cameras everywhere.
I don't think I watch anything on that show. I wanted to watch Star Trek, and then they made it an on-demand thing. I was like, fuck you.
Yeah, I hate that shit when they put it behind paywalls and crap.
Yeah.
They're putting everything behind paywalls now, you know.
It's
crazy.
Yeah. Why even advertise it on TV if you're not going to let us watch it? You know, it's bullshit.
Well, because they want you buying the 15 different streaming platforms instead of Netflix, so that way, you know, you're still spending, instead of spending $100 on cable, you're spending $100 on streaming platforms now.
Makes sense. I mean, if you find something that you like, there's all kinds of stuff on the. It's like hard to find any animation, you know. And I probably love animation. I'm sure that I love animation more than I love Kung Fu movies. And I love
Are we talking Western or Eastern animation?
All of it, man. Have you ever seen Ninja?
Yeah, there is a difference.
Have you ever seen Ninja Scroll?
Ninja Scroll.
It's an older movie. I think it's like 1990.
Old anime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good. I love that movie.
Yeah. Well, now I know what you're talking about a little bit. I vaguely remember. I don't remember it too well, but I remember it. That was pretty big back in the day. And then there's the classic Akira.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
That's
yeah.
probably one of the most legendary animes of all time. You know, that movie's like pretty much synonymous with it. You know, and cyberpunk history too, because there was this. I forgot the name of the artist, but one of my friends showed me a while back. It's like this guy's doing this history of cyberpunk, and he talked for like 20 minutes about how Akira worked into the cyberpunk lore, and I was like, that's pretty interesting.
That is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I was Kennedy the other day was talking about she was talking about there's a new movie coming out with the Warner Brothers. They made one before with Michael Jordan where they were playing basketball, right? And there's a new one coming out. I don't remember what the title of was where they played basketball, but there's a new one. Space Jam, that was it. There's a new one coming out that's like part 2 or whatever, and they said Kennedy was saying that they had to remove Pepe Le Pew from the cast because he was too aggressive with the ladies. Too aggressive with the ladies, so he can't be part of cartoons anymore, apparently.
Yeah, I remember that. They canceled him a couple months ago.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we tried to teach lessons about womanizing. We got to get rid of them from history so we never learn about womanizing in the future.
You know, I kind of understand that, but, you know, I got kicked out of kindergarten because I thought I was Pepe Le Pew. You know you want it, baby.
I know you will let me play with your little toy set. I don't know. I'm trying.
I was just.
I went from the freaking Pepe Le Pew to that French movie Cuties. Oh God, that's not good.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a really creepy movie about 13-year-old girls twerking. That was creepy.
Sounds like it.
Creepy. Yeah, I watched a YouTube. I watched another YouTube video. Somebody watching it.
I don't like those kind of videos, but you know, it's really weird that I never thought of Pepe Le Pew as being, you know, overly aggressive to women. He just had a thing for the chicks, man, and you know, so he's like, hey baby, hey baby, looking for a party? I mean, you know, I think that's a pretty standard line.
Yeah, if anything, they probably could have hit on it for like being like, oh, they're like doing all these French stereotypes or something. But no, they didn't do that. Like, come on, guys. That was a swing and a miss right there. You know, strike one.
Everybody's entitled to a swing at least.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Jeez. Some people, they just, oh man, there's just some people out there, like, I don't get it. I just don't get the world these days sometimes.
Yeah.
Well,
I
didn't do the movie live, right?
I always tell them it's not my fault. My hands have brains of their own. I have no control of them whatsoever.
That sounds kind of bad.
It's not bad. It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. All right, I'll leave that one to you. But yeah, so you know about that $9.99 donation? You know anything about have you ever had a bag of Better Made Chips before?
Better what now?
Have you ever had a bag of Better Made Chips before?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, that sucks. We gotta get you a bag of Better Made Chips with that $9.99 they sent you.
I don't think they have them here, dude. I kind of go up and down the chip aisle. Not that I buy chips. I do buy tortilla chips.
It's a regional.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't recognize that one. Why do you ask?
Well, because that's what I put in the message of the donation.
Oh, okay. Hey,
it was like my clue. You know, I was telling you, like, I'm going to put something Detroit related, and that's what it is. They make Better Made Chips right there on Gratiot Avenue down there in the east side of Detroit.
Yeah, well, that's pretty cool. If you get a chance, I'd love to have a bag of them. But that being said, I
mail you one or something.
I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you throwing down, man. It's very nice of you.
Yeah, man. You do good stuff. You know, you cover the news that nobody else wants to cover. You know?
I just am trying to like understand, you know, and in doing so, I think help other people understand.
You know, that makes a lot of sense, and that's it's an honorable thing to do because there's a lot of liars in the world nowadays, especially since it's really easy to get paid to lie more than paid to tell the truth.
It's so weird when I hear like I hear everybody on CNN talking about liars, you know, like Donald Trump lying and this person lying and Fox News lying all day long, like they don't lie at all, right? It's really strange. It's like
it's deflection.
Well, it's not just that. It's like, it's you know, because it's like saying, it's like a liar saying I'm not a liar, you know, and it's just fucking, it's bizarre, you know. It's so hypocritical that I can't believe anybody would try and get away with it.
Yeah, well, they ain't gonna get away with it much longer because that James O'Keefe guy, he's suing the shit out of him, and I expect him to win that lawsuit given the way they described the case and everything. So. Oh man, they're gonna get torn apart because they're trying to like make up some stuff on there, and then they have Brian Stelter out there talking crap about the Project Veritas thing, and then they kind of caught them in the act of lying about what they were talking about on the air, and then they didn't retract it. So now it's like it's on now. So we're gonna see what happens, but I think it's going to get interesting because he won that case against the New York Times, and the New York Times trying to slander that group. Whether you agree with them or not, they won their case, so it's going to be interesting to see if they win the other one against CNN. And I feel like if they win that case against CNN, that's going to be pretty damn big because they got to take a big hit. They have to pay a good bit of money.
Yeah, again, these people they deserve to take big hits. I talk about sending the politicians to prison over and over again. The media has the same thing. I mean, they need to go to prison because they just tell us these lies, and act like they're the only one telling the truth, and yet they help, George W. Bush march us into war. In Iraq, again, these are journalists. They're able to decipher the truth, and they march us into war on, stupid fabricated lies. Straight out of the White House. So those people, and it's not just that they march us into war. It's like I keep saying about these criminals in Congress that not only do they vote for, to pay for the war and to keep the war going again and again and again, but they profit off that. And that's really sick. And I feel the same way about the media. They encourage it. They slant it. They make it seem like it's the right thing to do, and every day they profit off it. Every little baby killed with bullets and bombs, they profit off it, and that's sick and wrong. Go ahead.
And it's got a term for that. You know what that term is?
Yeah.
Manufacturing consent. That's what their job is. Their job is not to tell the news. Their job is to tell you what the news should be.
Yeah. That makes sense.
That's why they constantly lie, because if they tell the truth and the jig is up, then they lose their jobs. And then then the whole house of cards comes falling apart. So they're going to be lying until everything unravels, and then they all get arrested for lying for so long. But they have to continue the lie. They have to. So they don't have any other option because they're in so deep.
Right. It's like with 9/11, there's no other option. And again, that's what I'm talking about the people in Congress, is that they all have to be in on it and be part of it because they get 1,000 emails a day saying 9/11, buildings don't fall down in their own footprint, BBC standing outside World Trade Center 7, all these things. They get all these emails every day, so they know what the truth is, and they know what the people want, and yet they never ever even talk about it. That's the real problem. If they just bring it up, then we could question all these other piece of shit fucking members of Congress, who I don't know if you remember, but Ron Paul made a speech on his way out of Congress, and it was "What If?" That's the title, and I think he began the speech by saying, "What if the government is lying to you about the events of 9/11?" And there's nobody else in Congress who says any shit like that. And if there was, hopefully they'd be saying it every day in order, again, to make all these other people that are completely corrupt look like they're completely corrupt and war criminal. Make it obvious that what kind of sick fucking war criminals we're dealing with.
Yeah, that's the problem is that lobbying has made it impossible to do that, because then they just throw a bunch of money at some corrupt primary poll and replace whoever actually tells the truth down there in Congress. So it's a lot deeper than that. The deep state is deep, as they say, and they got a lot of ways to kick you out of Congress if you start doing that whole not towing the establishment line there and making sure that we continue to warmonger for the military-industrial congressional complex and all that fun stuff. They want to make sure that they get to have control over everything. And they use a lot of money to do it. So that's the downfall of all of this. Is the corruption will destroy us all if we don't get rid of the corruption. But no one wants to get rid of the corruption because then they lose their job.
Destroy us all. 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 Yeah, That's why I keep talking about this, you know. Again, it's not for me. I'm not long for this world, you know. And I'm not saying that because it's, you know, whatever. I'm just saying that, you know, this is the way I understand things. And
it's literally a taunt I hear in a video game where like this guy was like trying to shoot at me. He's like, "You're not long for this world." And I went, "No, I think it was you."
I hope I don't go that way, but
no, I hope you know. Anyways.
But I'm just saying these things that I'm trying to you know, highlight. It's because we need people to care about crimes against humanity. You know, especially people who call us representatives or call themselves representatives and public servants. Because if this was happening in Russia, right? You know, which you know, I guess they want to make Ukraine look like this, but this isn't anything like Ukraine. So.
Oh yeah. That's the point of dehumanizing them, and they'd be like, "See, they're trying to raise your children to be murdering psychopaths and stuff." It's like, I'm pretty sure spending the last 20 to 40 years under complete and utter desolation and almost indentured servitude towards the Israeli people, if that's what we're still talking about anyway. You know, if that's still happening, that's the mentality to put into it. It's like expecting people in less to-do neighborhoods to I don't know.
It's like back in the day, whites only. You know, it's again this second-class citizen thing that I keep talking about. That describes the Palestinians almost perfect.
The Jewish people go this way, the Palestinians go that way. Like they have the two different road systems. You know about that, right? They have two different road systems in Israel.
Yeah.
The nice ones for all the Israelis, and the Palestinians get to ride all the backwoods roads. Like the trails literally underneath the bridge that they built for the Israeli people.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So that just shows you, you know, it's the literal definition of apartheid is one group of people oppressing another over religious purposes or other purposes. And that's pretty much what's going on, is they're just taking a 1,000-year-old grudge that they've had over certain things that happened a long time ago. And, you know, just taking things and trying to exact some sort of biblical revenge almost. Well, not biblical, but you know what I mean.
Hey, look, they just want to bulldoze the Palestinians into the ocean, Gaza, basically, because and then they have all the West Bank settlements and stuff where they mow down where they bulldoze the 1,000 or 100-year-old orchards that used to feed entire communities and poison their wells in the fucking desert. But they just want to bulldoze Gaza into the sea, and there's like $1 trillion natural gas reserve off of the coast of Gaza. That's what they really want, and to make the Palestinians go bye-bye, obviously.
Yeah, land grabbing and all that stuff, creating Eastern Israel and resources. You know, everybody loves resources. And we seem to love to go to war for it, but that seems to be, that's like most of the, like I play a lot of strategy video games, that seems to be the gist of it. Like, they even make a joke in some, like a video game show that makes fun of video games using video games. And they use one real, like, they were making fun of how they were controlled. It was set in, like, back in the Iraq days, and this guy was making a joke about taking oil and stuff. And this one guy was like, "Hey, why don't we try to get oil out of this country?" And the guy goes, "You know all those people with money, with ridiculous amounts of money that they could ever dream of? Well, those folks need more money. That's why we're here." And the guy goes, "Well, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of." And then this tank drives by. He's like, "Hey, tank, what do you think we're here for?" And then they use like the quote from the game is like, "We are fighting for peace. Protecting our people. It's the right thing to do." And he's like, "All right, let's go liberate some oil wells."
That sounds very familiar.
Yeah, it's an oldie but goldie. It's some funny stuff, but
I've never seen it before, but it sounds very familiar regardless. It sounds like a very common thing coming out of the Congress.
Yeah, liberty, just like what Trump was saying. That's the thing that made everybody was mad about Trump about the most when it comes to his, all the never Trumpers was he told the truth. He's like, we are going to Syria for the oil, and everyone's like, oh no, you're not supposed to actually say the quiet part out loud. Like he just doesn't care. That's why I like them both, I guess, because it pissed off the establishment. And if he pisses off the establishment, he makes me happy.
I like seeing the finger poked in the eye of the establishment very much, but I'm no fan of Trump at all.
I understand.
Yeah.
Everybody is. I don't agree with them more often than not. I try to be like, hey, maybe we should do things this way.
He's just kind of a slimy person, you know what I mean? I just couldn't imagine hanging out with him. Every time I see him, he's just gonna, if you go and hang out with him for dinner, a nice place, he's just gonna fart McDonald's farts all fucking night long, and you won't be able to enjoy one single bite of your steak. That's the way I see fucking Donald Trump.
Okay. So here's the question. You have to have a sit-down dinner and a conversation with one of the two people. Donald Trump or Mitt Romney. Which one is it?
Oh, I could sit down with... I can't. It's not... I'm afraid that I would vomit or something in the middle of dinner, and I don't like vomiting, so...
I can see myself having a beer with Trump. I don't know about sit-down dinner. I feel like things would get awkward after a while.
Like I said, I bet you would not be able to taste a single bite of your food. He probably wears this fucking horrible cologne, too, to try and cover up his farts, So it's like you wouldn't be able to taste anything or smell anything. I bet it's just disgusting to have dinner with him.
What I would like to do is buy a cologne or something that smells like farts and then use it in the bathroom and then come out.
They used to make there was joke shops and stuff where you'd go and get magic tricks and shit like that, right? Man. And they would have these little tiny perfume bottles, and it would say Chanel or something on it, and it was this skunk shit, and once you got it on you, it was very difficult to get off. I don't know if they still make stuff like that, but it was, they did it 50 years ago, 40 years ago, or whatever, and it was.
Yeah,
I remember
really strong with it.
Yeah, I remember getting one of those bottles and regretting it a lot.
It's like one of those commercials, do you not take showers for more than once a week? Do you feel like water on your body just doesn't seem to agree with you? Well, we got this new product from Chanel just for you.
I remember getting it and just having getting stuff stinky and just what the fuck is going on? It wasn't on purpose, it was just it would happen. I think I broke the damn bottle, and that was really fucked up, let me tell you.
Oh, jeez. Well, here's something that's really fucked up that happened to me in 7th grade. I was in science class one day, and this kid had this bottle of perfume or something. He fucking broke it, and for some reason my eyes couldn't stop reacting to it. I was sitting there in class. I'm like, oh god! I felt like my eyes were burning. I couldn't open them, and my eyes just kept watering from the perfume smell.
Yeah.
And it's I can't see anything, Mr. Kroger, because I remember his name was Mr. Kroger, because he's I never worked there, but my name's Mr. Kroger. And, I don't know. He was kind of an asshole. I got another story but I'll tell that story some other time. Anyways, so I couldn't keep my eyes open, and then I was like, oh God, I gotta go down to the counseling office or something. As soon as I walk out of the office or out of the classroom, my eyes open. I'm like, oh great, I feel great. I can come back in here. And I'm like, okay, I walk back in there and I'm like, hey, Mr. Kroger, I feel a little bit better. Oh God, oh no, my eyes are hurting again.
Yeah, perfume. I can't stand it, man. It's it just burns my nose, like you're saying with your eyes.
Yeah. I don't know what it was with my eyes, because you would think it would be the nose, but it was my eyes could not stop reacting to the cologne.
Yeah.
Stuff. I couldn't get it, I just didn't understand it, but whatever. I never had that reaction since, but it just was really weird.
It sounds horrible to me.
It sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty. I had some pretty shitty things happen in school. in middle school, like some kid like who got lice didn't tell anybody, but he was like, "Hey, you want to try my hat on?" I was like, "Sure, buddy, you're a good friend of mine." And I put the hat on, and then like a day later, I'm like, "Man, my hair itches like crazy. What the hell's going on?" And then what do you know? I got head lice. But hey, that was pretty cool. I got to not be in school for a whole week. That was fun. I had to wash my hair a lot, but whatever. At least you have to go to school.
I don't remember that ever happening to me. But I remember,
Head lice, yeah.
I remember people talking about it. I think it was something you'd see on TV every once in a while.
Yeah, I would be not surprised if that one happened because there was like 100 kids in that school. Like,
I think
it was like big time. I was like, what the hell happened?
I think it happened on the Brady Bunch.
Oh, Brady Bunch. Wow, that's crazy. But yeah, I mean, that was crazy. Yeah, some people just want to be some real jerks. Hey, it is what it is,
I hear you.
Middle school was crazy times, but, it was a school. And I'm here, we're living my real life. That's what I really wanted to do in school. I was like, I can't wait to get done with this shit so I could, live life and stuff. I'm enjoying it,
Good. I was going to say, how is that working out for you? I'm glad you're enjoying
Pretty
it.
Good.
It's a lot of people don't seem to enjoy it at all.
Yeah, they let the whole overall control and depressing mindset that the society wants to put on everybody, so that way they give up on trying to make it better. A lot of people, fall for it. I was falling for it for a long time too. Alex Jones is kind of right about that shit. There's a war on your mind. They want to control you. They want to make you depressed. They want to make you give up.
Yeah.
Because that's the most important thing to them, is getting people to give up on fixing our society, fixing life.
They want you really afraid. They want people to be as divided as possible, which is kind of similar to fear. And that after you get terribly afraid and you can't you're afraid of everybody. So what kind of life is that? You know what I mean? Everybody is a potential rapist or gonna shoot you. I mean, it's so fucked up right now. I feel really bad for people who aren't able to deal with it, because I'm sure that there's a lot of people just going crazy in their heads. Like.
Yep.
The worry, people like to paint the worst. Some people paint the worst scenario in their mind, and they do it over and over and over again. And it just, I can't imagine living your life that way. This is going to turn out bad, and all I see is negative. I used to date this girl.
That was me for like 10, 20 years, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you. From like my late teens to about like a couple of years ago, like 2015, really. I was just sitting there like, woe is me, everything sucks. I'm a failure. I consider myself the living embodiment of the Detroit Lions. Like, I was like, I'm the Detroit Lions, I'm a fucking loser, and I lose. But I'm done with that. I'm gonna win now.
Yeah. Well, it's better. You know what? I don't think necessarily you have to win. I think you just have to
that's just a mindset,
Yeah.
Because I called myself the loser for so long, I need to consider a different mindset, and that's what it is. Like, what is that one psychology theory? I forgot who did it. It was not Descartes. No, I think it was Descartes, where it was like you thought your mind. It sets the table for your reality around you. What you think in your mind will happen in reality. If you think a negative mindset, you will have a negative mindset. If you think your life's going to suck, your life's going to suck. My life sucked because I thought my life sucks.
Huh.
So once you stop thinking my life sucks, hey, my life can get better. I can improve things. I just need to work for it. I need to strive for it. I know I can do this. Then things start changing, because then you used to look in the mirror every day and say, I can do this, I can win, I can succeed at my own personal goals. Whether it's monetary or getting fit or some sort of other personal goal. It's just mindset. That's all it is. It's a mentality, mind over matter.
For me, it's a lot about coming into this moment. That a lot of people, the reason that they're negative is because they know something bad is going to happen in the future. or they're upset about something bad that happened at work, but they're at home now and they can't get over it, or you know what I mean, they're always in the past or the future instead of being in this moment where there's all kinds of things to enjoy.
Yeah, and usually it's because they haven't smoked a bowl after work to calm down.
That too. I highly recommend the cannabis.
Yeah, I'd recommend a little medicinal cannabis
Yeah.
after work. Always keeps the vibes to the good level.
Yeah, I'm smoking this sweet tarts tonight. Oh my God, if you can get some, I highly recommend it. It is so good.
Definitely. Oh, that reminds me, dude. I really did appreciate those videos you were putting out, like last month and earlier this month, about like the reveals of the seeds. I thought that was really cool. It was really cool watching you like go through the product and do the whole unboxing thing with all the weed stuff. Because if there's anybody I would want to watch a weed unboxing video, it'd be the Moxie one.
Right on. Well, I'm taking videos. I'm making. I have seedlings now in dirt. I planted 20. I mixed soil for 20 plants last night, 5 gallons each. Oh man. And I have 20 seedlings planted right now. But one of them's going to across the street neighbor, and 2 of them are going to Craig's ex, and 2 of them are going to the UPS driver.
Craig's ex?
Yeah, I told her. I asked her if she wanted to plant because I was starting a bunch of them, and she said, "Oh yeah, that'd be great, but I don't know what strain to get." And I said, "I know the perfect strain for you," and then I heard Craig was having a conversation with her, and I overheard that she was saying that her and her daughter weren't getting along very well, and I emailed her and I said, "Hey, can I give a plant for your daughter too?" And she said that would, because I said, "I heard you guys aren't connecting very well." She's living at the same house, right? And I thought that if you both have plants, you know, this is a way that you can come together and maybe connect more the way you want. And she's like, "That's such a good idea." I'm sure she would love growing her own plants. So I'm sending a couple of them to her, and that's it. I got some really nice genetics picked out for everybody.
That's pretty cool, man. I think one day, you know, if we could ever get you over here to the D, you'll have to help me figure things out one day if I ever get into that game.
All I'm saying is that I have seedlings. I've been filming everything from the time I put them, you know, started them. So I'll have like week 1 in the next few days.
So you're gonna make like a little like a vlog series almost.
Yeah, I want to show. I'm gonna do side by side plants outdoors. See which ones are the best. I have one of the strains I have is I just read an article a couple weeks ago in which it said that one of the strains I have is the #1 top autoflower to grow outdoors. So
that's pretty nice. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it wasn't like they
were.
were.
A lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm gonna have more videos. I'm gonna try and do one a week. Week 1, week 2. I don't want to do everyday thing because there's just not enough progress per day. At least when they're little. So maybe as they get a little bigger, I'll start to do more videos throughout, you know, daily.
That makes a lot of sense, doing the weekly videos, and then once you get closer to the finishing process, then you can do the daily videos.
Once we got
you go like showing those freaking sweet nugs, and it'll be weed porn.
Not just that, yeah, exactly. But not just that. It'll show people, you know, okay, the plant's maturing, it's maturing, and you know what to expect. You know what I mean, as they go into flowering, because it's always kind of like, if you're new, you don't know what to expect. You know, so. That way I think that they'll be able, because they mature very fast. These plants that I'm growing, they're not on a photo period cycle. They just have like a limited lifespan. So they're done in 70 to 90 days.
Wow. So not even 2 months.
What, 2 months plus a little.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 2 months. Yeah.
Maybe 3 months tops.
I got the month.
So they're perfect.
Tops,
They're perfect to grow outdoors here in the summertime. I have trouble. It's too wet to grow anything after September here. So.
Yeah, because they're a little bit up there in the temperate zone there. But hey, That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I hope you have a lot of success with that.
Well, you said that if anybody, you'd like to see my videos like that. So I'm just telling you, some of them are coming your way.
I appreciate that. I really do. But yeah, I'm gonna get going. Let somebody else get on here, and I gotta go take a shit. So I'll see you, man.
Thanks for sharing, Z.
Yeah, I had to pull the Rick and Morty on you.
All right.
I gotta go take a shit.
Call back soon, okay?
I'll talk to you later. Be safe, Moxie.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Okay, you got caller, Craig? Okay, no caller. This is a call-in show, people. If you would like... Oh, wait. If you'd like to participate, which is what a call-in show generally is all about, the number is right there on the screen. Oh, look. 805-669-6397. 805 Mox News. Hello, caller.
Mox the Fox, what's up, brother?
I am just doing this thing that I do Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific. What's going on with you?
And you're doing a great job as usual.
You say that to all the live hosts. Go ahead.
No, I gotta say, I've been listening and you're spot on. Spot on. And I'm gonna tell you why. In regards to Israel and Palestine, it's just I see people are trying to blame right-wing evangelicals. That's the talking point. Oh, if it wasn't for these right-wing evangelicals supporting Israel, they're supporting a terrorist state, and all these right-wing evangelicals because they think the rapture is going to come, bring back Jesus or something along those lines.
Right.
That is just furthest from the truth. That's just the constant talking point. What it's really about is AIPAC and our politicians being bought out. Everyone knows that.
Yeah,
That's
I
why
agree.
You got senators from Arkansas, Tom Cotton, is, I stand with Israel. No, you stand with your donors, and they're all a bunch of Zionists.
Well,
that's what this is about.
You stand with people that are committing crimes against humanity. That's who you stand with, and that I don't know how anyone see. And if anyone stands with him, right? If you side with him, then you're siding with people committing crimes against humanity too. And this is some fucked up shit.
It is, and it really sucks because it's like, who do you support? You support freaking Kamala Harris and Ocasio-Cortez, these nutjob left-wing, like, complete lunatics, or do you support these war hawks like Tom Cotton, who have no problem going to war, and it's just, we got no good guys, man.
And would love to go to war again. Well, I haven't seen Kamala Harris speak out against who's protecting the Palestinian people, but I have seen AOC saying that everyone says Israel has the right to defend itself. What about the Palestinian people? Do they have the right to defend themselves? And they're calling her anti-Semitic for these comments. So that's what they do when people speak out. But so it's kind of brave to see, her do that and a few other people do that. In my opinion, it's kind of brave.
Yeah, when it comes to both sides, it's like they'll attack if it's they're on the wrong team. Even if they say something I agree with, or I had an opportunity to attack, let's attack her. Even though she's standing up for Palestinians who are being genocided, this is the opportunity. She's anti-Semitic, and we see this on both sides.
Right.
And it just sucks because we got no one for both sides of the party. And when it comes to that, her speaking out, I think it's just lip service. It's because she said this is what she does. It's a lip service. They may send out a tweet here and there, but when it comes down to business, nothing's going to happen. She's
right.
Gonna vote for more.
It's not so much lip service as theater, and she's the controlled opposition, right? So not everybody in Congress is bowing down to Israel. Look, You know, they're allowed not to say their mind. So she's the controlled opposition because, like you're saying, it's not going to make the slightest bit of difference. So go ahead and let her say what she's going to say, and it will make us look better, right?
Exactly, that's a good point. They allow they allow some people to get away with it, but other people, they got to toe the line, and it seems like every single Republican got to toe the line. It's typical. I stand with Israel,
Right.
and it's just this loyalty to Israel, no matter what happens. And even there's a lot of Democrats, and I think that's what makes me the most mad is these left-wingers who are supposedly all about social justice, all about human rights. When it comes to these rioters, these looters, it's always, oh yeah, they were looting, they were rioting, and they're attacking cops and this and that. But you have to understand, they're fighting back against oppression, and they always got these nuanced takes. But when it comes to Israel, I mean, they always got these hardline takes. But when it comes to Israel and Palestine, it's more nuanced. It's about how they're defending themselves.
Right. I agree completely. So, and
just,
yeah, go ahead.
What's that called? That's called a hypocrite.
Yeah, I agree. And I see it everywhere. In this, you know, like I have a video coming up with Alan Dershowitz talking about how the Palestinians are murdering little Israeli babies. You know, and meanwhile, you know what I'm saying? So I have that video coming up, and I have another video about you were just talking about. I lost my train of thought, but it's related to that too. So it's really, I just don't see why more people don't speak out. If they would just speak out, the people would just speak out. Then the congressmen, the congress people would have to start siding with some of the people, you know. I was going to say, I have the video coming up with AOC where she's talking about the Palestinian people and if they have the right to defend themselves. So I'll play that for you momentarily.
Did you see that one video where she was mumbling and it was just, it was a complete nonsense. I think she was talking to some rabbi about the Israel-Palestine conflict and
No.
who, why, when, and
I don't
where.
have that video.
You gotta look that up when you get a chance. It's Ocasio-Cortez word salad when it comes to the Israel-Palestine conflict. But yeah, it sucks. You want to get behind somebody.
Yeah, I know. I miss Ron Paul a lot. You know, he was somebody that you could get behind. You know, plus he had been to war. You know, he had served in the military as a doctor. You know, that's a very, very hard job.
Yeah. We got no options. They're all bought and paid for. They all work for the same people. And when you say certain things, you get labeled a hater, you get labeled a conspiracy theorist,
Right. Yeah.
an anti-Semite.
Right. They say treason is, truth is treason in the land of the lies, or something to that effect. Truth is treason. So, you know, that's why we don't see anybody speaking the truth. Because if you do, you're, like you said, you get labeled one of these bad people.
Someone said, what does a senator from Arkansas, Tom Cotton, have to do with Israel, Palestine, some hundreds of miles away? It's like, what's none of your business, man?
Well, it really is. It really is. If a genocide is being committed, then it's your job to speak out against the people committing the genocide. I always say, if you have a loud microphone, or the louder microphone you have, the more important you speaking out is. You know, it's like almost becomes mandatory. Like I talk a lot about actors and actresses who don't speak out against the crimes in Israel, the crimes against humanity, the Palestinian people, because they have loud microphones. So it's like their responsibility to do it, and yet they ignore it. And I think that that's a very ugly thing.
You're absolutely right there. What I meant to say was, his tweet was, "I stand with Israel," and I say, "Well, why are you standing with one or the other? Or why are you standing with Israel?" I mean, it's just when it comes to the genocide situation, there's a lot of atrocity throughout the world, and so I mean, you can look through Africa, you can see there's warlords genociding tribes all over the place. You can look in China, the Uyghurs, they got them in concentration camps. So
Yeah.
there's atrocities all over the place, and
But they're speaking out against China doing it, right? Where was the other location you said? Myanmar?
and oh yeah, that's a good example too. What I said, like there's
Yeah, in
Africa,
Myanmar, they're
there's always-
speaking out against the tyranny, you know? This is what I'm saying. But we never hear it about Palestine or Gaza. They just get the shit bombed out of them. There's a genocide going on, and no one says anything.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Again, it's K-Dog, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin. I got to take a break.
All right, I'll leave you to it.
Okay, Kevin,
I'll
it's
call
good.
in another
It's good to hear from you. I hope you'll call back soon.
time. Absolutely.
All right. See ya. Stay cool.
See ya.
Okay, so I'm going to play a video here about the one with AOC speaking out against the crimes in Israel, because this also is the one with Alan Dershowitz, where he's talking about how the Palestinians, the Hamas is killing Israeli babies, which I found very interesting. I thought you guys might find it interesting too. This is clip number 9. Number 9.
Welcome back, everybody. You know, it's clear that socialist Democrats in our nation's capital are attacking America's Judeo-Christian ethic, from Biden's bastardization of Catholicism to his party's embrace of anti-Semites. The Socialist Democrat Party is the home of hate in America. Joining me now to discuss, Professor Emeritus of Harvard Law School, author of the new book, The Case Against the New Censorship, and his previous offering, Guilt by Accusation, Professor Alan Dershowitz. Also with us, the host and producer of The Catholic Current and author of the book, Real Philosophy for Real People, Tools for Truthful Living, Father Robert McTague. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have you here. Professor, we'll begin with you. You were ahead of everybody on this troubling development in the Democrat Party, the embrace of openly anti-Semitic members in an effort to keep or expand their numbers in Congress, from Ilhan Omar to Rashida M.F. Tlaib to AOC. As rockets are raining down on Israel, fired by terrorists in Hamas, the Democrats are cheering for Hamas. Your thoughts, sir?
Well, many years ago, I wrote a book called The Case for Moral Clarity, in which I predicted this was going to happen. You have a situation of pure evil on one side, Hamas, double war crime, sending rockets aimed at Israeli civilians, children, from behind their own children. And I predicted this was going to keep happening as long as the international community, as long as the media encourages Hamas. The great villain of this piece is Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is basically encouraging Hamas to continue what it's doing. And the Squad and the New York Times. The New York Times, 5 op-eds in a row condemning Israel, until finally today they allowed Bret Stephens to write a piece. And what this does is it sends a message to Hamas. Every few years, find an excuse, send rockets to Israel, kill Israeli children. Israel will respond. Don't worry. Sanders, the New York Times, the left of the Democratic Party, the international community, the International Criminal Court, the UN, will condemn Israel, and you will win. So do it again and again and again. That's what's going to keep happening.
Father McTague, I want to talk with you about, as a practicing Catholic, I call Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and John Kerry, and others like them, I call them fake Catholics. Not only do they promote, fund, and enable abortion, they attack groups like the Little Sisters of the Poor, trying to force the Little Sisters to violate their deeply held religious beliefs. Now, the Biden administration has filed an appeal to force religious doctors and hospitals to perform gender transition procedures. It's hard to imagine a party that holds more contempt for our religion than does Socialist Democrats. Am I wrong?
Well, maybe the Chinese Communist Party might give them a run for their money, but certainly in the United States, it's hard for me to reconcile what I know about what the church has always taught, and what's embraced by your common political parties these days. It's irreconcilable, not only in terms of faith and revelation, but also in terms of the use of human reason. The Catholic Church has always been a great champion of the use of right reason. And a lot of the policies that you've referred to, a lot of the politicians you referred to, are completely at odds with what is obvious to human reason and certainly irreconcilable with so much of Catholic revelation.
Professor, I'm going to turn back to what's going on with this current back and forth between Hamas and Israel. Actress and star of Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot, she is, of course, from Israel. She called for peace amid the Israel-Hamas violence, but her call for peace was condemned yet again by pro-terrorist reprobates in the U.S. and around the globe. When a message of peace is decried in this way, what does it reveal about the nature of the reprobates who would shame someone like Gal Gadot?
Well, it reveals a great deal, but it also reveals a great deal about the internet. You have President Trump, who would like to get on Twitter now to defend Israel, as he has so articulately over the years. But he's banned because what he says isn't the truth. But look what the internet allows up. All these attacks on Gal Gadot, one attack from a person from Pakistan, an actress, who says, oh, Hitler killed 6 million Jews and he only kept the others alive. So we know why he had to kill the Jews. Another one saying, I'm the new Hitler. I'm supporting the Palestinians. Another one saying Israel isn't a real state. And when Twitter keeps those after taking down Trump, it's basically saying, we think that's the truth. We think that's the truth, because if it wasn't the truth, we'd have to take it down the way we took down Trump. So you get inadvertently, you get the social media supporting Hamas, the New York Times supporting Hamas, and it sends a very powerful message. Do it again. Kill children, kill civilians, attack, commit war crimes. You'll prevail on this because of the anti-Semitism that stimulates so much of this. And you can be a Jew and an anti-Semite. Biden has made some strong statements positively, and I commend him for that. But Bernie Sanders, who's Jewish, is a self-hating Jew. A self-hating Jew who is willing to see Israel be defeated militarily by a terrorist group because he's on the hard left and he has to follow the hard left. And that's what he has been doing.
Father McTeague, last thing I want to talk with you about is prompted by feedback from their priests and the laity. The United States Conference of Catholic Bishops is considering denying fake Catholics like Joe Biden, John Kerry, Nancy Pelosi Holy Communion, which, for you non-Catholics out there, we Catholics believe
He's a self-hating Jew. He's a self-hating Jew. God, I thought that clip was hilarious. Hope you guys enjoyed that. He's a self-hating Jew. They're killing Israeli babies. Man. Oh, man. Okay, so I owe Dawn a big fat dab. It is Dabs for Donations Friday. We do this every Friday night. And if you would like to participate, if you'd like me to do a dab for you, all you got to do is give a donation, and I'll do a nice fat dab for you. And I am puffing on the sweet tarts tonight. It is fucking amazing. What's up, caller?
Not much, YouTube host. How's it going, Mox?
Okay.
So, I'm late. Actually, I took a nap and I just woke up not too long ago watching, catching up on the news. So I don't know if you reported on this. But, Fox News on their YouTube channel hosted the Tucker Carlson clip tonight of the, it's the first time I've ever seen a UFO go underwater. Caught by the Navy, I believe it was.
Huh.
Did you see that?
No, I was a little busy. I didn't get to see that.
Yeah. That's Fox News hosted it like an hour, maybe two ago. People want to look that up. I recommend looking it up because it was freaking awesome. I mean, people have been reporting this for decades, UFOs going underwater, and it's the military, black and white, you see them targeting it with like a missile or whatever, video footage, like, all the others. And, yeah, man, it went underwater, man. You could see the waves and shit. You're like, whoa. Like people have been reporting that for decades. Last year in Mage, Brazil, there's a bunch of videos of a UFO flying there. They actually shot that one down. There's some footage, you don't see it, but you hear it as people are walking, like the gunfight they had with the occupants that fired an unknown projectile, according to reports, And then, Trump, one of the last things he did it with that fucking, the big military spending bill. It's got a name I can't remember right now. It's the one they always threaten to veto. The one where Obama signed it at Christmas at midnight or something like that, or New Year's at midnight, and basically legalized martial law, whatever that bill is. He included a forced declassification.
The National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, NDAA. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, thank you, Fox or Mox. I forgot for a second. Yeah, and the disclosure date is set for June, and to my knowledge, it has not been pushed back yet. So, this is part of the drip feed. I think Marco Rubio's even talking about UFOs right now, and he's part of the big defense.
I remember that they're supposed to show all their documentation that they have. That's what the Pentagon said. They were going to do a document dump with everything they had.
Yeah, that's next month. That's in June. That's the next few weeks, And I don't know. I'm really excited for it. My only dire prediction is if there is something big, and we get disclosure, whatever it is, whether it's just admitting it or video footage talking to an alien or some shit. They say never let a good crisis go to waste.
Right.
And it wouldn't be a shame when everybody's looking at these UFOs if Israel did whatever they wanted. That's my main dire prediction right now. They might actually be starting up this war in preparation of it. They did a lot of shit. Last time was it the New Zealand shooting, the mosque shooting. That occupied the news cycle. They were, getting things done over there.
Well, I hear what you're saying. I mean, it could be that there's a war in space coming or whatever. But I just see these higher beings, these higher intelligence beings as being off the charts, higher intelligence and violence.
Yeah, there's no doubt they're superior. You know what I mean? They made it.
It's off the charts. It's something that we can't understand. Just the travel, just the way they travel, is impossible for us to understand. And that's basically.
All right, I'm not going to pretend I understand it, but one of the somebody had it was a patent that the U.S. Navy found. It was a UFO patent and how it worked. And it was something like it was filled with gas. And then in the gas, they had these gas chambers, right? And then around it had a electric field around this, vehicle device cylindrical object. And then it was using vibrations. I don't know if you heard about the sonic levitation and shit, where people were, can levitate things with basically, waves, sound waves, whatever waves, everything's a wave. And yeah, I mean, apparently, if you vibrate it or something like that, I mean, I'm not a fucking UFO scientist, all right? But, if you vibrate, in this gas that hits this electrical charge, on a field or something, it apparently moves, And, so that's cool stuff to hear every now and then, I always wondered how the fucking, shit works, most people.
It'd be if the Pentagon actually releases documents of like you're saying vehicles that have been shot down and stuff, then they ought to have all kinds of technical documents and we can see where maybe they've gleaned this technology or that technology from it. But like I said, they're so far advanced, it would probably be incredibly difficult just to understand the basics of their operations. So
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, like, you know, if, like some of these dudes are really brilliant. I actually worked with a few of them in my past, and, like, yeah, if they got one, they would probably be able to figure out what it was doing, you know, or at least see what it was trying to do, and then trying to figure out that from there. Like, you know, I have no doubt. I have no doubt they got something. Like, did I mention was it Mage Brazil?
No.
UFO incident about a year ago. Like, they had you know, it's like they got like Twitter video compilations. I recommend looking up Mage UFO Brazil on Twitter or whatever. And there's compilation videos of people like, you know, filming like, you know, like this thing in the sky, and then like, you know, they actually got like a lot of gunfire, and there's like, you know, aircraft and stuff, and they shot it down.
Huh.
And you know, they got Google, you know, satellite images that are like, you know, censored right at the crash site, so you can't see what the hell it is. But yeah, it's definitely showing up on satellite. And like, you know, there was like, you know, you hear all the gunfire and stuff. Like the Army shot at whoever was in there, and then, you know, reports are that whoever was in there fired an unknown projectile back.
Huh.
That's just what they said. And then like, you know,
and this is a daytime event or a nighttime event?
It was day and nighttime. Like, people were seeing it for a long time, and then, you know, they heard explosions and it shot down, and, you know, they at least, you know, got audio and shaky cam cell phone footage, you know, where you hear the firefights and stuff like that. At the same time, it was shot down, I believe, at night, and like, you know, people went to the airplane satellites radars, and like, you know, U.S. Air Force, you know, flight left, you know, Washington, D.C. and went to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil at 1:30 a.m., like immediately after it happened. You know, there's a lot of stuff coming, and that's when I think, around that time, I think was when Trump was really heavily hinting at UFOs. You know, he had like a weird interview with his son where his son asked him to close UFOs, and he's like, I can tell you things, but I can't. You know, he's just like being real hinting towards like, yeah, they're there, but, you know, not disclosing right there. And I thought that was pretty big. That was an announcement of the Space Force. You know, people were talking about, like, you know, the scientists were saying that, you know, Trump asked them how long will it take us to get there, to this technology, to get a ship that can fly like that. And they said to take 30 years to be about 2050, when the U.S. could actually have, you know, this tech that they've got down, because, like, you know, they got the reports that they shut down stuff, and they've got it, and they know how it works, you know? And there's
no way,
stuff,
dude.
you know?
There is no way. I hear what you're saying.
The scientists are here. The scientists are very good.
I understand. They're excellent back engineers, right? They can pull something apart and figure out how it works. But we're talking about, you know, technology that allows you to travel, you know, 1 billion light years in a matter of moments. And I don't think that they're that brilliant of back engineers. Or, you know, and what I'm saying is they might be able to figure out a lot of stuff, but that part of it, there's no way. And I also don't think that people who, that beings that have that technology are going to allow humans off the planet, honestly.
I mean, yeah, I mean, there's a big question of whether we're ruled under their thumb, you know what I mean? Like, at first when I was a kid, I was always super excited about, like, oh, man, I can't wait to hear about aliens. But now I'm, like, kind of depressed, you know? You know, it's like a weird thing to be, like, the you know, the pets of the universe.
We'll make great pets. We'll make great pets. We'll make great pets. Good song.
Yeah, I thought of it too. Like I don't know, you know, it's just crazy stuff, man. It's a crazy world, you know. Over here on the East Coast, hopefully the gas shortage.
Have you been feeling that?
Dude. Yeah, dude, gas panic city, dude. Like, I think it was on Monday or whatever. Like, yo, the gas station right down the street from me flooded, dude. Like line was like 2 hours long.
Are they gouging people like $6 or $7 a gallon, or?
They can't if there's no gas.
Oh.
Like, I'm pretty sure people at this point would like to pay $6 a gallon. You know, if they could get gas at this point, but there's none. Like, I talked to a friend, you know, who was a friend with like one of the owners or something like that, and you know, just, you know, he was giving me a little bit of background, telling me about like, yo, yeah, you know, they got hacked, and I forgot to ask him They said they thought it was going to take a week, to get it back with the IT team they currently had,
Yeah.
I forgot to ask them at the time how much was it charged, because, dude, this is a lot of damage, and then, the next day, apparently, I guess they failed, and then they paid the bail, or paid the ransom, I should say, and it was only $5 million.
I thought it was pretty cheap too.
$5 million.
But it might be that's just what they're reporting that they paid.
Dude, we gotta admit, cybersecurity issues are real. We screw up from time to time, dude. But you don't shut down 13 states for $5 million.
I think that again, it shows the antiquated infrastructure that we have. We deserve better than this. We're spending vast amounts of money to put Band-Aids on shit and fill potholes. We deserve some kind of a backup system that can be immediately enacted, so that it's not, this shit should be fucking fail-proof, It shouldn't be an option to fucking, we can't get any gas delivered to you guys, so we don't care, because you'll still come back to us when we do have gas.
Well, they shut down the building of the Keystone Pipeline like day one.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the first thing Biden did, literally day one. That moved troops to Syria, right? That was his day one actions. And then, I heard the Michigan governor, is like shutting down a pipeline there, or attempting to now, they're really hell bent. It's like, it seems like the ultimate incompetence, but it could be the most competent. If you want to destroy America, this is like the most competent way to do it.
Well, you have to get alternatives in place. But I'm tired of fossil fuels. We should be able to get electricity for free. Iceland's figured it out. It should be incredibly simple. But then who makes money if it's free, right?
Well, there's unfortunately logistics. I do have at least a college minor in physics.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of that was energy study and stuff, dude. It's just the math. Yeah, it's fossil fuels, nuclear energy, coal, anything else, just, the battery tech ain't there. It's like gathering other stuff in its battery tech, not just straight generating raw energy.
Tesla
it just can't meet demand.
Tesla is coming out with a rooftop for homes. It's like the whole roof is a solar panel, and it has a battery that's guaranteed for 25 years. And you're supposed to be able to get plenty when there's sunshine. You're supposed to be able to get plenty of electricity. When there's not plenty, you use the other electricity. But it's basically, I've heard people say that it'll pay for your home. So.
Oh yeah, Elon Musk, all the hate he's getting is really dragging us into the future, kicking and screaming. Just in his battery work alone. He has the Tesla cars and stuff too, but the big thing is his rockets, right? In the space industry he's currently building. And power and batteries are crucial, and they're so expensive, and it's because you're buying all these parts you made in 13 different countries and stuff, and then you're shipping them and all that. He's actually making battery factories here in the U.S. where they make everything, therefore it's cheaper. They have the ability to also do better work, constantly upgrade. He's really done. That's seriously one of the probably biggest things he's going to do for humanity here, at least in the near predictable futures, is battery work. That's definitely going to be a huge step, but like I said, we're basically at the baby stage of that.
Yeah, well, Tesla's coming out with that. He said that they said that the entire roof is basically a solar panel. That's guaranteed for 25 years, and the battery is guaranteed for 25 years. So, most rooftops don't come close to lasting that long.
Yeah, we're going to get all kinds of cool stuff like that, definitely if you have it, do it. I think right now, You know, because of making it and the cost and the battery and stuff. Like, you know, at 25 years, you'll probably break even for the cost of the roof versus the money you'll save. I think that's what I heard on that 25-year roof battery.
But again, the idea is that you're getting completely free green energy, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely. You know, you're like you're basically pumping energy into the grid, and they're compensating you for it.
That's what I understand too. Is that you can also pump energy into the grid? Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of how it works. You know, you're still like you got an electric company and shit. Like you're not like out in the woods. I don't know. Maybe you could do it, but I don't know if it's legal.
I don't know.
It depends on the state, you know. Probably not California or anything. But yeah, man, like a lot of stuff's going on. You know, like I just wanted to raise the UFO thing.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. I haven't thought about the disclosure that's coming up recently,
that's
but
in June, dude. You're going to see a lot of drip feeds.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to keep my eyes open for that stuff starting now.
Yeah.
And I'll take a look at what Tucker did tonight too.
Yeah. I tried to find another source of the video, but YouTube algorithms didn't like me, or it's not anywhere else. But it's on Tucker Carlson. I think at the very least Fox News hosted a quick 4-minute clip. You know, like a couple of hours ago.
Well, 4 minutes, I would say, is not a quick. Oh, you mean with all the talking and stuff?
Yeah, you know, it's his TV show.
Right.
You know? And like it's like a 4-minute UFO clip.
He likes the UFOs. I don't know if it's because he gets an audience from it or he's actually interested, because he does. I don't want to say regular. That's not like, you know, once a month or anything, but you know, once or twice a year he does UFO stories. So.
Well, you know, I mean, there's just some people that believe the truth, believe we can handle it.
Well,
you know,
that's the thing.
Bullshit to lie to us,
that's the thing about disclosure too. Is you know, all these evangelicals and shit are just going to go haywire. You know, if there's any.
Well, actually, I think there's like, was it a Catholic meeting of all the, you know, whatever, the Catholic churches or whatever in July, and it's to discuss about, you know, human and alien life.
That's
you know, 1 month after this disclosure, they're going to have a big meeting of, like I said, like all the Catholic Church members. Forget the name of the meeting, but yeah, they're going to hold it specifically about alien life and humanity. So, you know, they got their plans ready. You know, they also probably got a heads up too.
Right,
it's pretty hard to do it. Like you know, they got like apparently you can't hear the audio, but in the footage you get Tucker says, and you hear the audio, you can hear like the Navy crew members gasp, you know, as it goes underwater.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch that. But you're saying like the Vatican having a meeting or whatever on the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to be caught off guard by that when everybody that is part of your flock is going, hey, what the fuck about this, right? You know, they definitely want to be prepared for that.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you're like, hey, you know, about God and creation, and like, you know, we're like the center of the universe and all that.
Oh, there's only us. We're the only intelligence.
Us, you know, kind of people, you know, like, you gotta make a statement, you know, you gotta make a statement, you know, especially this shit, dude. I honestly, I'm more interested in seeing the aliens versus like their ships. You know, I mean, I'm sure the ships are like these cool metallic shapes and shit.
I just want to see some really good video of the ships. If they just show that, I'll be, because they have tons and tons and tons of that, and I want none of this
they
fucking.
always say that.
I don't want none of this cloudy shit. You know, and like you're saying, I want to see fucking video of crash sites. If they shot one of these things down, we should know that, because that, in my opinion, is an act of war, and I don't want to be going to war with these people that are fucking 1,000 times smarter than us.
Yeah, I mean, they could just literally, like, move a rock from space, dude. It'll be bigger than every bomb. It's, like, extinction level event.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they don't even, like, you know, like, it's not really that hard to destroy a planet once you're a space-faring race and you can move stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, just move this big, you know, rock that's a few miles wide. You know,
Yeah.
put it down
We'll
that
just
way.
bump it. We'll just bump it six inches this way, and boom.
Yeah, that's the end of that race. You know, do-over. So, I mean, hopefully they're not that big of an asshole.
Well,
Really,
I mean, Einstein said that there's like 200. He believed there was 250, give or take, species watching the Earth. So.
I watched this one dude that does a lot of like physics and space news and all this other stuff, and he just had a video where like they did the new, I forget the name of the theorem, where they calculate Ferri's theorem or something like that, where like they calculate how many existing aliens or races there are, and they said according to their new calculations, they think there's 37 just in like our Milky Way galaxy alone. So that was the current estimate for probability wise.
Seems very low
there's
to me.
37 living right now, not in the past, not in the future, right now. In the Milky Way galaxy.
Well, it seems very
God
small.
knows however many other galaxies there are. There's like infinite.
Right, but the Milky Way galaxy is almost infinite, so that seems like a very small number to me.
Well, I mean, to say that they're alive right now, you gotta understand the timeline. Well, we've only been around what, 1 million years is what they estimate humanity. To be.
I don't know, give or take.
That's a very, very short timeline. We're talking billions and billions of years, and God knows what could happen even next year. You know what I mean? Then we could be wiped out. By a rock, like I said earlier, or whatever. And then we're no longer part of that group.
Or some germ released out of fucking biological lab in fucking bumfuck Egypt,
Oh, dude, how about that Rand Paul Fauci grilling? Did you see that?
Yeah.
This week? Oh man, dude, where he's just like, so you funded this? You're on the paper? You're cited on the paper for the gain of function, experiments in China?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, dude, I mean, honestly, Mox, I'm so pessimistic, dude. I think, we're just like, a few years away from like a WikiLeaks, where they got like DNC or FBI or CIA or whatever communicating with CCP about releasing a disease. And then I'm sure the media will ignore it and nothing will happen. I mean, it's just so sad now. It's like they're like, oh yeah, we did this on purpose. I'm like, okay. And no one will care about it. The media won't report it because it's completely corrupt. And then, you just find it on the internet before they delete it.
And if there was people that cared about it, right, and they went to the House of Representatives to see their representatives, they'd be labeled domestic terrorists, and the FBI would search them down and throw them in prison forever.
Yeah, the rules are clear on that. You know what I mean? They were. I just saw a thing on one of the Inside Editions or whatever, where the FBI caught this insurgent, and they had video footage where he was inside the building and he opened the door.
Yeah.
They're going to, it's like, so you open the door to a public building, you're a terrorist, Oh, and I heard they got like 26 of these people in solitary confinement. They haven't even been like officially charged, They haven't been, convicted of nothing, Like, dude, they keep them in solitary confinement, dude. And one thing I will say, and I only heard this once, I think it was like, Elizabeth Warren condemned solitary confinement as cruel punishment, and that's like one of the things, like, it was unexpected. She did like, hey, this is kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I think it's
and that's they made the rules very clear for what happens when you question them.
I don't think that I would mind solitary confinement as long as I wasn't cold and I was fed and I had a toilet. I think I could deal with solitary confinement.
I think there was like, I don't know if they have video footage of it, but they got the complaint, where like one of the guards was like, I hate you fucking MAGA types or whatever, and he just beat the shit out of one of these people. So they got them, they just literally, solitary confinement, getting your ass beat by guards. I don't think they're treating them very nice.
I don't think guards are known for treating people nice.
So I don't think,
doesn't matter if it's it doesn't matter if it's Roman guards or today's fucking Gestapo.
That was one thing else I just want to talk about was the pipeline hackers, the Russians.
How do you know? How do you know it's Russians?
Well, that was interesting because back when I think it was Vault 7 or 17, I think it was 7 for the WikiLeaks. where they released all the shit, where like the CIA has a way to make it look like the Russians did it, like they'll fake the IP addresses and stuff and make everything look like the Russian was hacking you.
Yeah.
They also, I think it might have been the same vault or a different vault, they had the stuff where these ransomware software came from, was, made by NSA or CIA or one of these intelligence agencies. And, they were giving it to contractors, like people who work for random, companies, and they, I work for, such and such Inc., and like, oh, they gave me the software that can hack into your system and do the ransomware, and it leaked pretty hard from there, and it was and I think when they were saying it was the Russians, and they called it this group Dark Side, which is they might as well just call them the villains, right? And like they have stuff like, oh, here's some signs that came from Russia. And they'll say how they faked how the accounts are Russian, and then, oh, they're talking to us too, and they're like, oh, well, yeah, well, we just sold it, that could be true. It could be just Russians selling the CIA software they got, from these contractors, to hack into it, and now people are just using it to, like, steal Bitcoin or whatever. But, it could just be the CIA themselves too, because, well, quite frankly, they made the software.
Right, and the CIA would love to have, $5 million in Bitcoins. To do their terrorism around the world, because that's where they got their money from cocaine back in the day, and I'm sure they're getting a ton of it from opium right now. So how is, some software...
Well, a lot of that cocaine money in the 80s was laundered through the oil in all the air, the tankers and stuff that were coming in that were never being checked.
The CIA is heavily embedded in the oil industry.
Yeah, and if they wanted to, like, say, shut down the gas line and, send prices through the roof, they could do that.
Right, which I was pointing out.
Make it look like the Russians, too.
And they'll blame somebody else. And I was pointing this out yesterday or the day before, how convenient it is that they make it happen right before summer. The summer when the plague is over, we don't have to wear masks anymore. And everybody's dying to get out of the house, but they don't want to use public transportation, so they're all going to drive. And now we get to charge everybody $7, $8 a gallon, and we're going to make so much fucking money.
Yeah, I mean, there's like, there's so many motivations, we're only left to guess, right?
I'm just saying,
the truth,
it seems like
give us the truth.
It seems like a very convenient time for it to happen, right before everybody gets their freedom back.
Yeah, just another thing to go. Max, I'm tired. I'm East Coast, unfortunately, but it was great talking with you tonight. Keep your eyes out there. There's a lot of stuff happening. Hope you have a good one.
All right, you too. Let's see. Am I all caught up on dabs, Craig? Okay, I'm all caught up on dabs. So far we have $30, well, $29.99, but we'll call it $30. So in order to play our new game show, Can You Beat My Cock? And I think Craig wants to integrate this to being part of the Friday night show on a regular basis, if we can have success with it. You don't have to play to give a donation or anything. I'm just saying we have to make this benchmark in order to play the game. I don't make up the rules, people. This was not even my idea, although I'm sure we would have done something like that, where we had to get to $50 benchmark in order to play the game, whichever game that was. Probably just a gift card giveaway. We have a very nice pizza gift card to give away to one lucky caller if you can beat my cock. Hello, caller.
Hey, Max.
Hi, Manny.
So it's like 9:30 p.m. already. It's like midnight on the East Coast.
Uh-huh. You're not on the East Coast.
I know. I'm in East Washington. I'm watching like MMA fighting right now.
Is that as good as Luchadori?
Well, Luchadori, it's like a WWE. It's scripted though.
Yeah.
But
crazy people, yeah.
And, crazy people. So it's all scripted though, but like MMA, it's the most realistic fight it could be. Now, I don't know about boxing though. I heard a lot of stories that boxing is kind of fixed as well though, but I don't know, man. I don't know about boxing. What do you think?
Boxing?
Yeah.
I don't like things where people hurt each other to win money. I think it's a very bad idea. But I very much enjoy martial arts in a controlled environment or in the movies. I like martial arts a lot in the movies, especially if there's not guns. I'm tired of seeing guns in movies.
Of course, Max. I feel that's cheating basically. Just everyone is cheating, including like knives and stuff. So just bare knuckles fight. That's the way it's supposed to be. Oh, look at that. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm watching a fight right now. It's pretty good though.
Okay, hey Manny, we can't have the audio on in the background. I'm sure that's copyrighted, and I can't do that. So you're either going to have to shut that back or call later, okay?
I'll call later, Max.
Okay, talk to you later. Good to hear from you. Yeah, we got to be careful with that, and I don't want them to go, oh, we've had it pop up on the screen before, oh, we've identified copyrighted material, and so we're very careful about that as much as possible. I hope we don't get a little pop-up, because that would be messed up, and I will come and kick your ass personally, Manny. Okay, so that being said, again, we're doing the Can You Beat My Cock game show. Hopefully, but we have a goal to reach. We have a $50 goal to reach in donations. So far, we have $30, and I would love to play the game if anyone can beat my cock, because that sounds like fun, doesn't it? I think it sounds like fun. But we need to reach a $50 benchmark goal in order for we to be able to do that. To do our call-in and give away our lovely pizza gift card, which I wish I had a lovely pizza gift card, because I really want a pizza bad. So you know. And I'm not lying. I am not lying. So I'm going to go heat up my tea because we don't have any callers. I'd love to have a caller. I'd love to do a dab in your honor. It's Dabs for Donations Friday. And if we make our $50 benchmark, then we'll put Craig in this seat and we'll do Can You Beat My Cock? He's going to be the host of the show, not me. So that way it's fair. So, and he's got a little bell. He's got a little bell set up. So you know when your time is over, or when your time starts. Time starts now. So we got that looking forward to us. If you'd like to help us get to our $50 benchmark, I'm going to go heat up my tea. I'll be back momentarily. I have a video about, did you like that last video with the Alan Dershowitz? I thought it was cray-cray. That guy, he's a self-hating Jew. He's a self-hating Jew. What kind of a mindset must you have to call your fellow, Jewish person a self-hating Jew because they speak out against something that they see as a crime against humanity, and then you're like, he is not one of us. Seriously, is that not crazy talk? Got it. All right, so that being said, I'm going to play a video here about German anti-Semitism. How about that? You want to see a video? Oh, you know what? I have one about Gaza from the German news, and we should probably watch that because it's a pretty good video, it's a pretty powerful video, and I'll be back momentarily.
We open our broadcast with the war between Israel and Palestinian militants, which is lighting up the skies for the 5th night running. Israeli jets have continued to pound Hamas targets, and thousands of reservists are now on standby for a possible ground invasion of Gaza. Already, the death toll is mounting. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas is condemning what he calls brutal and programmed killings. Meanwhile, Israel's prime minister is warning that Hamas will pay a heavy price for launching rocket attacks.
A family of 6 lie dead in Gaza. Distraught mourners gather to say goodbye. Their relatives say they died late at night, their home bombed by Israeli planes, with them inside. My brother Rafat was at home, may God have mercy on him, with his wife and 4 children. Without any warning, 5 rockets destroyed their building. His wife was pregnant. Israeli forces have been pounding the Palestinian territory with artillery. They have deployed thousands of soldiers to the border who could enter Gaza for the first time since 2014. As the conflict intensifies, hour by hour, Gazans are fleeing their homes with whatever they can carry. Some have come to this school run by the UN in search of a safe place. We were planning to leave during the night, but drones and jets kept bombing us. At dawn, we started moving and ran to the schools. Our children were screaming. They wanted to get away. When we woke up, we found everything behind us destroyed. There's nothing left. And many Israelis, too, are living in fear. Just north of Gaza, the city of Ascalon has been hit repeatedly by Hamas rockets. It has been very stressful, but we are following the government's instructions. We have faith in the army and our creator. Casualties mount on both sides. Here in Gaza, hospitals are under severe strain from COVID-19 and the fighting. Doctors are worried it will only get worse from here.
I'd like to turn now to DW Jerusalem correspondent Tanya Kramer. Tanya, we understand that Israeli forces have conducted air and ground attacks on Gaza. What more can you tell us?
Well, we've seen a build-up, a military build-up around the Gaza Strip for the past days. But for now, still, the focus of the Israeli army seems to be on concerted strikes from the air, the navy and artillery. We've seen that particularly last night. This was a very massive air bombardment campaign, also by the artillery and from the navy, and especially in the northern Gaza Strip. The army has said they deployed 160 fighter jets and were targeting what they called a tunnel system used by Hamas and the Islamic Jihad. And we have the impression that, I mean, today, again, it was a bit more quieter during the day, but it has picked up. Rocket barrages came in waves, and also the airstrikes have continued. Of course, this comes at an immense devastation for the residents there, especially there also in this northern area of the Gaza Strip. And I talked to someone there on the phone today. Said they're hunkering down, they're at home, but that many of the neighbors have left, as we've seen in the report, to look for a kind of safer place, which doesn't really exist in Gaza.
What is the situation, Tanya, in occupied West Bank?
Well, we've seen today across the occupied West Bank protests and demonstrations mainly by young Palestinians. There's a lot of anger and frustration. Some came out in solidarity what is happening in Gaza. So some of the youth there were throwing Molotov cocktails, stones and other objects, and the Israeli army responded with tear gas, rubber bullets and some live ammunition. Now, the Ministry of Health in Ramallah has said that at least 9 protesters were killed and several hundreds injured. Now, this comes, of course, a day before Nakba Day, which is a reminder for many Palestinians of their forced displacement in 1948. They're commemorating this on Saturday. And, of course, we also will have funerals tomorrow, so there might be some more protests and demonstrations at that point.
All right. So let's see. I am all caught up on dabs. It is Dabs for Donations Friday. And what I wanted to say about the dabs is I think I just found my new favorite weed. That's how much I highly recommend this Sweet Tarts. I am surprised. Again, this is like I taste these weeds like I had cake frosting last week or the week before, and it was like it's supposed to be super sweet. I didn't taste that. It tasted like kind of diesel thing. But this Sweet Tarts, I mean, immediately when it hits my mouth, I can just get this real sweetness, and then like after I exhale, the aftertaste, it has like this sour aftertaste. I'm telling you, if you can get your hands on some of this Sweet Tarts, making my mouth water. It's amazing. It may be my new favorite. I'm telling you, for serious. So I'd love to have another dab if anybody would like to help us out on Dabs for Donations Friday. And also, we're up to $30, and Craig says we have to reach our $50 benchmark in order to play our game, our new game show, Can You Beat My Cock? So we only have $20 to go, and we can play our game show and give away a lovely pizza gift card, which I wish I had a lovely pizza gift card. I am so wanting pizza so bad. I can't even begin to tell you. Okay, so I have this short video that I wanted to play for you guys about, let's see, which one was it? Let's see. Oh, German anti-Semitism. Apparently, police or military are being deployed to synagogues in Germany because they're worried about anti-Semitic violence. It's a very short video, but I thought you might be interested in it.
And a vigil against anti-Semitism has been held in Gelsenkirchen in Western Germany. Earlier this week, demonstrators shouted anti-Jewish slogans outside the city's synagogue. But today, supporters rallied in solidarity with Jewish communities. Police estimate that around 300 people took part. A spokesman for Chancellor Angela Merkel says Germany won't tolerate anti-Semitic protests after recent anti-Israel demonstrations in a number of cities where Israeli flags were burned and crowds shouted anti-Semitic slogans. So what measures are being taken to ensure the safety of Jewish communities here in Germany? A question that DW News put earlier to Felix Klein, the German government commissioner on anti-Semitism.
Well, it's appalling to see that this kind of hatred is expressed towards German Jews and the synagogues here in Germany, to make them responsible for acts of the Israeli government. This is not acceptable at all. And of course, the police and security authorities observe very well the situations, also the security measures for the synagogues and Jewish institutions in Germany have been enforced. And I hope that any perpetrator who commits anti-Semitic crimes will be charged and will be held responsible for what's being done.
All right, so I thought you might be finding that interesting. I thought it was very interesting. Almost like how they have guards around the Congress, the House of Representatives, the Senate. And I'm not just talking about the Capitol Hill Police. They have National Guards around the place, looking kind of like a third world country or a military coup like in Myanmar. You're not welcome here. If you come here, we will shoot you. That's our government. So let's see. I have a video left about a study that says that vaccines are related to premature births. So I thought you might want to see that, especially if any of you are with child. And let's see, FBI warning. And I have a video from Fox where they're talking about the anti-Semitic Democrats. Which the other clip with Alan Dershowitz, that was from Newsmax, which is a new channel. I don't recognize the guy as the host of the show. I think he must be one of those radio talking heads. But the Dershowitz thing was hilarious. He's a self-hating Jew. So I hope you thought that was hilarious too. I certainly can't take it serious, right? Let's see, where are we at? So we don't have any callers. I've recommended the Sweet Tarts Cannabis as highly as I can. Like I said, it may be my new favorite. I can almost taste it on my lips. It's so good. I'd love to have another dab in your honor of the wonderful, wonderful Sweethearts. Would love that. Seriously. So I'm going to play another video about the study of premature births and linked to vaccines, because that seems like a pretty important thing, especially if you are expecting, right? Clip number 3.
A new Israeli study has revealed a potentially harmful link between mask wearing and premature births. Georgia Barnett reports.
A mask of protection or a potentially harmful accessory. From April 2019, pregnant women were obligated to wear face masks in public, but a collaborative study by Sheba, Soroka and Hadassah Medical Center questions if mask wearing did more harm than good.
We took those laboratory results and obstetrical outcomes in the months April, May, and June of 2020 and compare it in 2019. Our thesis is that these results may influence the increased bleeding after delivering during that period and decreased rate of preterm birth.
Over 1,800 women who delivered during the coronavirus pandemic were part of this research, and compared with the pre-pandemic period, some levels were significantly higher and lower.
It is not necessarily harmful. It can impact in a good way and in a bad way. But we saw elevated levels of hemoglobin and decreased levels of preterm birth. So decreased levels of preterm birth is a positive thing. And as for the hemoglobin, it's maybe even a good thing because it can decrease the levels of preterm birth. We saw lower levels of platelets, and lower levels of platelets can cause postpartum hemorrhage, which is bleeding after delivery. So there's a good aspect and a bad one.
But as Israel returns to normality, what can we learn from these new findings?
I will emphasize it again and again that this is an observational study only. So we saw increased levels of PPH, but we can't tell. This study cannot prove what was the reason. We do offer thesis that it was caused by this hard to ventilate space, but in order there can be a lot of other explanation.
Israeli scientists stress that the findings of this report are not wholly conclusive, but open the doors to several other post-pandemic questions.
You don't need to wear masks on the street. So we're doing another study in which we want to see the opposite results, study in which we will prove in a more causal method of research that the mask wearing was actually the reason.
As the country emerges from lockdown, the potentials for new scientific discoveries appear to be endless.
All right, so I apologize. I got that one wrong. It wasn't vaccines. It was masks that are connected to, linked to premature births. Wearing a face mask for extended periods of time, I guess, has been linked to premature births. So I want to make sure to get that right. I didn't write it down wrong. Where'd that go? I didn't write it down wrong. See, it says right there, it's clip number 3. It says study mask premature birth, right? I didn't get it wrong. It's just that there's one down below, clip number 7, and it says vaccine false positives and mammograms. So I just kind of inverted that. So I wrote it down right. I just read it wrong and somehow wound up backwards in my brain. So I apologize. It's masks, face masks being worn for extended periods of time that is linked to premature births. So again, I think that that's still very pertinent information, maybe even more so. I just wanted to make sure that you knew I screwed that up a little bit and that I recognized it and that I'm not too big to admit it. So you know. That being said, I have more videos. I have another video. I can play videos, people. It's one of those things that I learned how to do long ago. But it is Dabs for Donations Friday, so if you'd like me to take a dab in your honor of the lovely Sweet Tarts cannabis, I would love to do that. Otherwise, I'm down to like 2 videos, and if you want to call, now will be your chance to do that. Or I got the munchies really bad, and I'm eyeing the smoky hot dogs that I got in the fridge. I don't know why I buy the munchie food. I know I'm at the store and I'm like, don't buy the munchie food. Don't buy the munchie food. I must have munchie food now. All right, so I'm going to play the video about Democrats being anti-Semitic because I thought you should know. This is important information, people.
Israeli troops preparing for a possible ground invasion into Gaza as the violence threatens to escalate into an all-out war. Fox's Trey Yingst is reporting live from the Israel-Gaza border. Trey, to you.
Dagan, good afternoon. Intense fighting continues tonight, and we know the Israeli Air Force is striking the Gaza Strip as we speak. Last night, Israel's military launched both a ground and air attack against Islamic Jihad and Hamas inside Gaza. Reports indicate it was extremely successful, and we have seen less rocket fire today, but still there is expected to be days of fighting taking place across the region. You can see in some of this video the airstrikes against the Gaza Strip have been intense both day and night, hammering Gaza. The Palestinian death toll is now more than 120, though that number is expected to rise. On the Israeli side, artillery units behind me were active earlier, shelling different positions along the Gaza Strip. Sirens blaring throughout the morning as incoming rocket fire was intercepted by Israel's missile defense system, the Iron Dome. We have seen a number of tanks and armored personnel carriers trying to prepare for the possibility of a ground operation. I do want to show you what it looked like earlier today in a field just next to where we're standing right now. Israel is slowly but surely preparing for the possibility of a ground operation into Gaza. The Israeli Defense Forces are moving personnel and equipment to the border, as Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, following a security assessment today, said Hamas will continue to pay a heavy price for rocket fire into Israel. There are major concerns that this conflict is unraveling so quickly that it will spread to other parts of the region. Today, more than 10 people were killed in the West Bank during clashes between Palestinians and the Israeli Defense Forces. Dagan.
Trey, thank you so much for that. Trey Yingst, be safe, my friend. Be safe. Back home, members of the squad are under fire from both sides of the aisle for recent remarks on the intensifying violence there. Take a listen.
To read the statements from President Biden, Secretary Blinken, General Austin, and leaders of both parties, you'd hardly know Palestinians existed at all.
Many members of Congress have instead fallen back on a blanketed statement defending Israel's airstrikes against civilians under the guise of self-defense.
The President and many other figures this week stated that Israel has a right to self-defense. But do Palestinians have a right to survive?
Here now, David Harsanyi, National Review senior writer. I read everything that you write, David. Good to see you. What is being said by members of the squad, particularly Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, on Twitter is even worse than what you just heard. You wrote about it.
Right. I mean, the worst part of it is the moral equivalency. It's worse than that because they actually don't believe Israel does have a right to defend itself. They constantly lie about the reasons this started. You heard one of them just say that Israelis are bombing civilians. Well, that's not true. Israelis are bombing Hamas, who hide behind civilians. One of these forces is protecting civilians and the other is attacking civilians. And it's really that simple. Morally, the equation is quite simple. So for them to defend terrorists, in essence, is on the floor of Congress, as they did yesterday, all of them, is just, it's odious.
It is odious because the math that I do is these women are anti-Israel and pro-Hamas. That makes them anti-Semitic and haters of the Jewish people. And this is not just this instance. This has been happening over and over again. You can go back to 2012 when Ilhan Omar wrote on her Twitter account, "Israel has hypnotized the world. May Allah awaken the people and help them see the evil doings of Israel." That's what she said, and she's on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, David.
Right. Yeah, listen, people can be critical of Israel. It's another country. It makes mistakes. It's imperfect. But when the only country that you ever criticize almost is Israel, and you don't even believe that they deserve a homeland, that your argument is that that all of Israel is simply occupied and all of Jews there are colonizers, even though they have a history going back to at least 1000 BC. And there's something to be said about that. And it seems to me that you are peddling functionally anti-Semitism. You don't believe Jews should be able to defend themselves. You don't believe Jews should be able to have their own homeland. And considering even recent history, I think that says a lot about you. And we have at least 4 and probably more like 10 Democrats who essentially make that case. And I don't know. I mean, I don't hear Chuck Schumer or Nancy Pelosi or anyone standing up to say this is wrong, or frankly, most of the media either. And I think that is something that should be paid attention to as well.
Why don't we hear that, though? I mean, given modern history and what happened, they are welcome to talk to my friends whose families were completely wiped out during the Holocaust. And one family member out of dozens managed to make it to the United States. But the fact that this is what the Democratic Party, and let's rope everybody in, that they're standing for this. Because again, silence is accepting the unacceptable. Where does that leave us?
Well, I think there's little upside anymore for them to say anything. There's only downside because the progressive wing is growing. The progressive wing is the activist wing, and they are much more involved and louder and more aggressive. So there's really no upside because people, I think that Israel's fallen out of favor among many Democrats, including, frankly, Jewish American Democrats. So there's really no upside for them. And you have the Republican Party is basically the only party that stands up for Israel these days.
But based on the things that have been said recently and historically from some of these left-wing Democrats, this it doesn't sound like it's just about Israel. I mean, I'll quote, Abigail Shrier wrote a column for the Wall Street Journal. This is a few years ago. And she said that Ms. Omar's statements require no sophisticated parsing nor a deep understanding of historical prejudice. Real hatred rarely does.
Yeah, I mean, what she does and what they do is blood libel. They make it sound as if Israelis go around killing children, that they want to do it, that the reason they do it is, to take more land, to steal more land. They make it sound, AOC said this the other day, that Jews are trying to attack Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, which was a lie. It was simply not true. Israel has handed over the administration of the mosque to Jordanian, Muslim officials. So they spread the rumors that Hamas spreads, that Hezbollah spreads, that the PA spreads, and they spread it here at home. And I see it, on social media, and obviously that's not always the real world, but you see it in increasing numbers of people spread these rumors and talk about it this way, and they're leading that charge. And I think, if Democrats don't speak up, it's going to be a cancer in their party that takes over their party.
As you wrote, David, and I'll encourage people to go and read everything you write, but the recent piece on the Squad, you said the fact is that Rashida Tlaib wants what Hamas wants, an Arab state from the river to the sea.
That's what she said. She said that. She, She had a map of Israel in her office, and she put Palestine over it. She says she calls it the catastrophe, as does Hamas. When she talks about the catastrophe, she's not talking about occupied territories from 1967. She's talking about 1948 and the creation of the Jewish state. So, I mean, I don't know how else you can translate what she's saying.
David, great to see you. David Harsanyi, thank you so much. It was terrific with you being on. I hope you have a great weekend.
I was about to click that off. I was like, enough of these a-holes. No one wants to listen to you. And I was like, it's about over. So I find it very interesting that people aren't allowed to speak out about Israel. Not only do I find it interesting, again, we're supposed to have the freedom of speech to say what we want to say, but not only that, it's, let's see. Hey, what's up, caller?
Hey, so you see what that guy says?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a Fox clip.
Yeah.
And he's saying, oh, they even lied and said that Israel attacked the Al-Aqsa Hamas. Okay. So he said that was a lie, but we've seen it. We saw the video. We saw 1,000 videos of them attacking Al-Aqsa. And then they called these 3 senators the squad, right? So they automatically disparage them. Now, I don't like AOC. I think she's a little bit fake. And Ilhan Omar, she's okay, and the other one, she's a little better. But you see how they spout out this stuff on national TV, and what they do is they call their talking points the truth, when anybody who knows that they're lying. They're straight up lying. So that entire clip was Zionist propaganda from beginning to end. And by the way, I have 6 million relatives. You can talk to any one of them, and they barely escaped the Holocaust and came here from Europe. By the way, they're in my family. And it's like, oh my God, nobody's talking about the Holocaust. There's a Holocaust kind of going on right now, and it seems like one side has rights and the other side doesn't have rights, and that's what we're talking about, But that clip, that's a Jewish Zionist clip. It's already in favor of the fake narrative, and it's flipped the script. It's already in favor of the lie, because that whole clip was a lie.
Did you see the Dershowitz clip?
I listened to it. I didn't actually see him, but yeah, his Dershowitz is just full of shit from beginning to end, man. That guy. Besides that, he's a plagiarist, Dershowitz.
That's what I hear. I was watching like a vintage. It's not really vintage, but it's a few years old. Saturday Night Live the other night. They have them all on this app called the Peacock. And it was the guy who killed Han Solo in Star Wars. I don't know what his name is. He was hosting the show.
That was his son.
Yeah, and but I don't know what the actor's name is. Anyways, they were doing this skit right at the beginning of the show. They were doing this skit, right? And speaking about Alan Dershowitz, and it was Cecily Strong, and I don't know what the other guy's name is. And Cecily was playing Senator Collins from Maine, and the other guy was playing Mitch McConnell, right? And Cecily Strong had down Susan Collins' accent. She has like a very strange way that she speaks, and she just nailed it. Fucking unbelievable. Anyways, they're talking and having this debate about the impeachment, right? The impeachment of Donald Trump, and they're acting really nervous. And then supposedly Alan Dershowitz comes out, played by John Lovitz, right? And John Lovitz walks out on stage, and the audience goes fucking insane, just like, Roar! And he leans over to the other 2 actors, and he goes, jealous? And I was just like, you instantly know why John Levitz is like a living legend, you know?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I didn't see the clip, but there are certain catchphrases that every Zionist uses, and one of them is self-hating Jew.
I love it when he did that. He's a self-hating Jew! A self-hating Jew!
That's the talking point. That's a catchphrase that they use to describe people who are Jewish, but they disagree with the Israeli policies. You know, and they say he's a self-hating Jew. Now, I happen to personally be friends with many proud self-hating Jews, and you know, we laugh about this shit. It's like, what next? You know, you're gonna say people with no shoes are assaulting the road or the sidewalk. You know, they're assaulting the sidewalk with their bare feet. It's like, you know, you can't flip the script any more than it's already flipped. You know, the American government and the media is weaponized against the people. There's a fence around the Capitol building. The media is brainwashing the people 24/7, and they're slaughtering people in Gaza, and there's a whole Zionist way of talking that is very expert in indoctrinating people into thinking that the truth is lies and that lies is truth. But if you just stick to basic human rights in every situation, whether it's Jewish or Chinese or African, it doesn't matter. If you just stick to the human rights, we're all human and we all have the same equal rights, then you'll be correct in all your matters. You know, doesn't matter if you're Jewish, doesn't matter if you're a Druid. You know, I'm in favor of Druid rights. I think the Druids should have big giant festivals at Stonehenge every year. You know, it's not, oh, you're anti-Druid, you know, you're anti-Druid. No, I'm not anti-Zion, I'm not anti-Semitic, you know. I just want people to have normal human rights.
Yeah.
You know, and to the listeners, please, if you were in the shoes of the Palestinians, you would be fighting back, because there's really no other choice. You'd be fighting back in one way or another, either by getting the news out or by picking up a stone and throwing a stone. It's the natural human way. You know, humans fight back, and so it's not like it's some abnormal thing where, this Palestinian tribal native threw a stone at this innocent Jewish soldier. Yeah, that's not what's going on, man. They're fighting for their rights. It's pretty simple. It's cut and dry.
With stones, yeah, with stones, they're fighting with their lives. I mean, for their lives.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
haven't got nothing else. Thank
No.
God for cell phones and modern technology. Otherwise, nobody would know this stuff.
Yeah.
We wouldn't know anything. We never did. I mean, they killed 58,000 Americans in Vietnam because we didn't have cell phones and we couldn't see what was going on, and we didn't know what our government was doing. The whole world has changed because we're all interconnected now with the internet. You know, that's why they don't, unless they kill us first, they don't stand a chance with this inhuman campaign they got going on all over the place. We can beat them simply by unifying all over the world. You know, we can beat them. We can beat the American government, the Israeli government, every corrupt government.
That's what I say all the time. Is, you know, I mean, I talk about we have a common enemy, and it's not just the people in the United States who absolutely all have the same common enemy, but it's people all around the world, like you're saying.
Yeah. So I just want to see. You know, that's a perfect example of a mind control program of American propaganda. That was Fox News telling lies, and unfortunately, both those people actually believed the lies they were telling.
I don't know, but it's, you know, that's why I played it, because I could see it as a perfect propaganda clip also, which I think is part of what I've done on my career on YouTube. Is I worked for 2 of Time Magazine's top most important blogs on the internet, or news blogs on the internet, and one of them, when I first started working for them, they're like, They're like, why do you keep playing all this Pentagon propaganda shit? And I was, or why do you keep posting that, right? I was like, because it opens people's eyes, man. You know?
Yeah, well, you've done a good job. You've been at this for a long time, 20, 25 years, and, the human race can win, and the demons and the devils will eventually lose. A lot of people will die between now and then, but as long as we still can get some true news out, we will win. Now, call me retarded, Mike, but
that would be politically incorrect.
No, it's okay. You can call me anything you want. I don't care. But the reason I say that is because I don't understand this whole crypto coin bullshit you got up there: Ethereum, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Polkadot, XRP. I mean, do you really think that's the way of the future, is cryptocurrency?
No, I think it's a casino bet. Okay, a lot of people love going to casino, but there isn't any in their neighborhood. You want to bet $10? You want to bet $20? You want to bet $100? Here you go.
Huh. Seems like kind of a boring game. Now, who makes?
It depends. It depends on if you get a 400% increase overnight, which I've seen happen many times. I saw one crypto go up 25,000% in like 10 hours.
And that was Doge?
No, I don't know what it was. I can't remember. It was something. It was something obscure.
See, because the thing I got against cryptocurrency is that it's all ones and zeros on a screen in a computer, in a master computer somewhere, and I'm a hand-to-mouth type guy. It's like I keep cash at my house. If you want to rob me, you're gonna have to get past my guns. But they can rob me on the internet or on a computer or out of my bank account. Oh, we don't know what happened. The government came in and took your money, Mike. And so I'm mostly cash, and I'm kind of a pirate. Like, I hide all my income, and I ain't reporting shit, and I ain't paying taxes.
All my best friends are pirates, man.
Yeah, so that's... And every time you make a purchase at a store with your debit card or your credit card, you are adding to the satanic flavor of planet Earth right now. You're participating in the satanic game, which will eventually result in you getting a tattoo, a microchip on your wrist, and you just flash your wrist underneath the machine at the store if you want to buy a bottle of tequila, and that's where we're headed. We want to get back to nature, and every time we participate in cryptocurrency or anything unnatural, including vaccines, we're participating in the downfall of planet Earth. So that's why I don't understand cryptocurrency. It's like, who the fuck would want to have a bunch of cryptocurrency?
Well, it's easy to understand if you look at it the way I just explained it. You know,
I'd rather play craps.
Well, so would Craig, but I've explained. Okay, one of the things about the cryptocurrency is if you go and place a big bet on it, the likeliness of you losing all of that is very, very, very small. You might lose 50%, you might lose 75%, but you're not going to walk out of the casino with no money. You go to Vegas, there's a good chance you're leaving that town with no money.
So the odds are better with cryptocurrency.
No, what I'm saying is it's an investment. It's not like the investment is just going to go away entirely, especially if you pick one of these ones that are, more well known. They're probably not going to jump up like the other ones. There's all these small ones. Like Craig has one crypto where he has like 59 million of these, coins or whatever. So, but it's like 0.004% or something of a penny. So he's hoping that it goes up to a penny, and then he makes $500,000.
I still want to encourage people to operate only with cash, or as much of cash as you can possibly manage, and eliminate all your online transactions, unless you're donating to Mox News, which would be okay. But
I think you meant to say highly deserved.
Highly deserved, right? That's true. But I pay cash, man. Everywhere I go, I just pay cash. So I think that's That's as close to nature. If Jesus was around, he'd be paying cash. What would Jesus do, Mike?
Jesus be smoking a lot of weed, I'm pretty sure of that.
Yeah, he would. I'll talk to you later, bro.
Okay, thanks for calling. Okay, so I'm all out of videos. I played them all, except for I have the white privilege card. You know I love playing the white privilege card. I'm going to play it every single day because it seems appropriate. And speaking of which, I think I have to cut out that clip where Dershowitz was saying, he's a self-hating Jew. I think I have to cut, he said it twice. I think I should cut that out and find a good spot for that. I think maybe we could end every clip about Israel with that. He's a self-hating Jew. I think that's a good idea. Now, I'm all out of videos except for I'm going to play the white privilege card, damn it, because I can do that.
Trump won the election. Among the suspects' possessions, this is real, a white privilege card. I want you to take a look at this. It's a fake white privilege credit card. Subtitle, Trump's everything. The card holder, scot-free, with 2 T's. Scot-free is actually spelled with 1 T, but, you know, 2 T's on that card. That one piece of evidence, an insight into the man's state of mind, that he can get away with anything because of his skin color. His lawyer saying this to CNN. This was a guy simply...
Okay, so I also have another clip that I play every night from our unofficial sponsor, Brightside Cannabis. And I know you have to see it because if you haven't, it's so good.
Sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear. Sometimes you need to stop worrying and take a deep breath. Sometimes you need cannabis. Introducing Brightside, high-quality cannabis delivered right to your door. Brightside offers an extensive menu of strains and products to meet your needs. Choose the experience you want, and we'll send you the dankest herb, the real sticky icky, some top-shelf marijuana. If you like what we send you, keep the whole jar. We'll even include some nugs for you to blaze. As part of Discovery, you'll get to try new strains and products. Side effects may include euphoria, increased appetite, uncontrollable giggles, elevated sensitivity to musical dopeness, and reduced anxiety. Tetrahydrocannabinol may also induce feelings of existential well-being and relentless optimism. With a Brightside subscription, you can get it once a month, once a week, or whenever you want, all at a price you'll like. And yes, this is a real company.
Do you know who I am?
You're the wizard.
Ask your doctor if cannabis is right for you. It probably is. Keep it Brightside.
All right, so don't forget what I said about attaching the Israeli government crimes against humanity to all Jews. In my opinion, that's one of the most anti-Semitic things that you can do. And what they do is say that you're anti-Semitic if you criticize Israel. And so remember, in doing that, they're saying that all Jews everywhere are responsible for the heinous crimes against humanity that the Israeli government is committing. And if I was Jewish, I would be personally really, really offended by that because that's not right. That shit is on the Israeli government, not Jewish people around the world. So we're clear. That being said, I'm all out of videos and no one's calling. And I'd love to do another dab. We don't have any more donations, do we, Craig? Do we? Do we? I guess not. So that being said, don't forget the Sweet Tarts. If you get a chance to taste it, I think it may be the first weed that I've ever actually tasted like what they say. You know, I've had weed that smell like I used to say, or I say that the Pez is one of my favorite smells. And I used to get it, and I was like, I know what this smell is. I know what it is, but I couldn't place it. And I asked a friend finally, you know, what is this? And he said, it's the Pez. And I was like, that's the perfect name for it. That's that smell. and the sweet tarts, I think, is my new favorite. So you know. So I highly recommend it if you get a chance. That being said, we do this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, which means we'll be back on Monday, same Mox time, same Mox channel. Until then, stay cool, because one of these days this war is going to end.
I mean, this coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. I wish the coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits, and they cobble together and they don't attack each other, they stay united. Coalition of misfits.
No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years. More than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of Mox. moxnews.com.